Good evening, everyone. Hello and welcome along to the Sports Corner Live. We are back once again for another live watch along on the channel. Did you miss us? It took us about 5 minutes to get ready. We've got some brilliant action tonight. We had 4 games earlier on today, a few goals here and there. Ajax with 3, Villarreal with 2. In fact, 2 or more goals across the board, which is not too bad in the end. But we've got 4 more games tonight in the Champions League, the Europa League still this week as we enter the round of 16, first leg. We're going to go through the lineups as we always do. Kickoff is about 2 minutes away, so we'll bring the boys in one by one for tonight's action. But to quickly run you down the games, we've got Olympiacos taking on Arsenal. Tottenham are going to be taking on Dinamo Zagreb in England. Roma taking on Shakhtar Donetsk. That's probably the pick of the bunch tonight. And then Granada taking on the UEL underdogs, you could say, in Molde. So as I said, we'll go through all the lineups. Don't forget, if you're new as always, please don't forget to leave a like and a subscription. We are pushing towards 2,000 subscribers, so it would be really helpful for you guys to support us along the way as we try and push towards that target. But without further ado, let's go into the lineups for tonight's fixtures, with the games kicking off very shortly. Usually I get the graphics sorted out because we've had the other show on tonight and I've been on it, been a bit of a rush, so we've got the actual pictures from the starting lineups. And as you can see on the screen tonight, 4-3-3 for Olympiacos, so we're going to be taking on Arsenal, and I'm covering that match tonight. So yet again, another match where I'm covering Arsenal. Jose Sarr is in goal, back 4, which is going to see we'll have Chip playing as left back. New signing in January, Kenny Lala will be in a back line that also includes the other new signing, who is a former Arsenal player, Socrates Papastafopoulos. He'll be alongside Barr, who's 6'5", is an absolute animal. Going to be interesting to see how those two do tonight at the back. Midfield 3, Buchalakis, Kamara and Jan Envier, very recognisable name of the past. And then a few recognisable names up front. Former Leipzig player Bruma is on the left. Mathieu Valbuena is on the right, former Marseille guy. And then a player that will not be forgot by Arsenal fans for quite some time. Yusuf El Arabi is back once again. He's playing tonight up top for Olympiacos. But the question is, will he score tonight? We'll have to find out. As for Arsenal, you can see they're playing tonight what would be a 4-2-3-1. Leno is in goal. You've got a back 4 of Bellerin, David Luiz, Gabriel Magalhaes and Kieran Tierney. You've got the defensive midfield too, of Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka. I think there will be people who will be a little bit frustrated after Xhaka's mistake of the weekend. He's got a chance to redeem himself tonight. We'll have to see whether he does or not. Saka is on the left, Willian on the right. Odegaard playing as the cam, and Aubameyang is up top. A few of the players on the bench includes the likes of Lacazette, Pepe, Ceballos, Emil Smith-Rowe. They've got plenty of quality players that could come on in this match and make a difference tonight. So that is the game that I'm going to be covering tonight. We'll move on to the next game now, which is going to be Roma taking on Shakhtar Donetsk. And last week, Will was able to watch Shakhtar Donetsk come up against Maccabi Tel Aviv. It was quite a comfortable result in the end. But tonight, Will, much bigger test for me. Pick of the bunch this time. What do you think is going to happen tonight?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good game. I think when you both look at both sides, it's I probably agree. I think it's the most evenly matched game. That's probably hard to pick a winner. But yeah, I'm really excited for it. Obviously, Shakhtar got through the last round against Maccabi. They were just the stronger team overall over the 2 legs. It was pretty simple. They had the better players. I thought Maccabi could have had a goal maybe in that second leg, but overall Shakhtar were dominant. But tonight's going to be a different test because we know Roma, obviously, they're well experienced in Europe. They've got a very good squad. But I think it's going to be a very good game. I'm looking forward to see who can get the advantage in the first leg.
Absolutely. It's going to be a very good game indeed. In terms of the actual lineups tonight, I'm just going to very quickly get the formations up to roughly tell you what's going on. So for Roma, 3-4-2-1 tonight. Paul Lopez is in goal. Back 3 of Kumbula, Cristante and Mancini. Midfield 4, which features Spinazzola, Villar, Adamu Diawara and Karsdorp. With Pedro Pellegrini as the left forward, right forward. And Henrik Mkhitaryan up top tonight. Quite interesting. No Xhaka, he's on the bench. Of course, there's been a massive situation throughout the January transfer window where he was actually linked to a move away from the club. As for the Shakhtar team, they're playing with a 4-2-3-1 tonight. Quite interesting. We haven't got Piatov in goal today. They've gone for Trubin. He's going to be in a back 4 that includes Ismaili as the left back, Dodo as the right back, with Vitao and Matvienko as the 2 centre-backs. Defensive midfield 2 of Marlos and Maicon. Wouldn't really call them defensive, to be honest, because the attacking 3 is Tete, Alan Patrick and Tyson, with the veteran forward, Juni Moraes, up top. Quite an attacking team on paper, isn't it, for Shakhtar Donetsk tonight?
Yeah, it is, and they're a team that going forward are very fluid. I noticed that in the last round, like you said, the players like Marlos and Tyson, more specifically the technical players on the outside that like to drive down the wing and also cut inside sometimes and get into the middle. And obviously veteran striker, Juma Rimes, who scored that penalty in the second leg. He's definitely a proven finisher. So, yeah, it's going to be a big test for both sides. I think I want to know, with the first leg, I think you'll probably see, both sides weighing each other up. I don't think you'll see major actions for the second leg, but, they'll both be eager to get a good start in the tie, and we'll see what it is tonight.
Absolutely. Should be a very good game indeed. Thank you very much, Will, as always. Had that game with Maccabi last week. He'll be hoping for more goals tonight and much more of an even match overall. No man Al Solomon as well in the team. He's on the bench tonight, which is a real shame. As with, of course, Israel players. We love Israel players on this channel. Part of the Euro tournament we did a few months ago. But let's move on to the next game now. We just had a little chance in the match. Odegaard probably should have put Arsenal 1-0 up straight away in this match. It was Tierney who lobbed a ball into the Norwegian, and he should have probably put the ball in the back of the net, in my opinion. But nice early chance there for Arsenal. Let's move on to the next game, though. Spurs, of course, the counterpart in the Premier League, the London rivals of the club. They're both playing off against each other in the North London derby at the weekend. But for now, it's all about the Europa League. And to watch this game tonight, he'll be hoping there's 9 goals in this one. He had 9 goals in Rangers Antwerp for the first leg. Do you think you're going to get 9 goals tonight, Adam?
I'd certainly hope so.
Fingers crossed.
No, maybe 9-0 Spurs. I'm not sure. I think it'll be more Spurs dominating tonight, to be honest, because they've got quite a strong team out, haven't they? They've got Kane started. He doesn't normally start in these type of games either. So, but Spurs normally tend to do quite well at home in the Europa League. So we'll see. Yeah,
they've got a really strong team out tonight. 4-2-3-1 for Spurs. Hugo Lloris is in goal. Ben Davies, Davinson Sanchez, Eric Dyer, and Sergio Rio make up the back 4. Defensive midfield to Vendombele and Sissoko. Son on the left wing, Lamella on the right wing, with Dele Alli in the middle, Kane up top. Really, really strong tonight from Spurs. Not what we've seen over the last few games in the Europa League. Do you think Mourinho is taking this very, very seriously now?
I think so now, yeah. It's another realistic chance for a trophy, isn't it? Which I think Spurs are definitely going for this season. And the League Cup looks unlikely with the strength of Man City as well. So I think it's a great chance for Spurs to win it.
Absolutely. Very, very fantastic point. Going to be a tough test in the Carabao Cup in a few weeks' time. As for their rivals, of course, Dinamo Zagreb tonight, they're playing with a 4-4-2. Dominik Livakovic, very young goalkeeper. He's in goal, very experienced as well. Back 4 of Liavac, Theopal, Catherine, Lauritsen, and their new signing from Sporting, Ristovski, are in the back 4. Midfield 4 on the left is Ivanovic. Right mid is Lovramaya, with the 2 midfielders of Ademi and Djakic. And then up top, probably Zagreb's 2 important players tonight, Mislav Orsic and Bruno Kopetkovic, the 2 real stars of this Zagreb side. I know you said a moment ago, Adam, you feel like maybe tonight could be a little bit of a comprehensive victory for Spurs, but it's going to be a tough game for them. Zagreb, very organised side, top of the Croatian league right now. Is it going to be plain sailing, do you think, or could this be one of those types of matches where it ends maybe 1-0 to Spurs and Zagreb is still in it?
Yeah, I think it'll be a tight one. I don't think we'll see a 4-0, 5-0 performance from Spurs. I think it'll be a tight, cagey affair, but I think they'll take a 1-0 to us into the next leg. It's still not bad, and Zagreb will be hoping for that valuable away goal.
They definitely will be indeed. Should be a good match tonight. Thank you very much, Adam, as always. He'll be hoping he gets all the goals tonight, as he usually does. Got quite the look on his side when it comes to the watch-alongs. And then the final game, of course, going on tonight, Granada taking on Molde. 2 teams that I don't think really many people expected to get to this stage of the competition. But here they are, and one of them has got a fantastic chance of going through to the quarter-finals in a few weeks' time. And to watch this game, of course, he did an article very recently on the sports-corner.com. I think we know who he's going to be rooting for tonight. It's KL. How are we?
I'm doing all right, mate. How are you?
I'm not too bad. I mean, 3 goals in the last game, which you saw really against Ajax and Young Boys. Do you think maybe we might have a few goals tonight with both these teams playing very, very well against top European clubs?
Yeah, it's a very tight game. I've got to admit, Granada are missing some key players. In the last leg, Josh, Yangel Herrera was one of the key men that got them the victory over Napoli. Both teams taking a scalp, I would say, in the round of 32 when they weren't the favourites. Granada, defensively solid, kept a clean sheet in half of their games in the Europa League this year. So Molde are going to have to be at their best, but they have got some good players going forward. Anderson won them the last tie away at Hoffenheim when they came under a barrage of chances. So 2 teams defensively sound. Does that mean 0-0? I don't know.
It's going to be a tough one to call. Very hard game to predict, which makes it potentially a special one to look out for tonight. As you can see on the screen, Granada's lineup, they're going to be playing a 4-2-3-1 tonight. Rui Silva is in goal, back for Victor Diaz, Nuan Perez, Domingos Duarte, Dimitri Fulquia. Defensive midfield to Maxime Gonalons, player from the past, very recognisable. Of course, he's alongside Etiki. Huertas is on the left wing. Kennedy is on the right, with Jorge Molina in the middle. Roberto Soldado is up top, former Spurs player, of course. And then the Molde lineup, you'll be able to see on your screen in a moment. I love this from Molde. They make life so much easier for me. 4-2-3-1 tonight for them. Linda is in goal, back four of Hagen, Sinjan, Gregersen and Holgren. Defensive midfield two of Ellingsen and Arsenes, with an attacking three of Ulan Andersen, Wolf Ikrem and Hestad. And then Sigurdsson is up top tonight. And it sounds like you've already had a little chance in the game.
Yeah, it was Nuan Perez, the surprise man on loan from Atletico Madrid. It was a whip ball in by Kennedy, and he's at the front post. And he just gets his foot on it to guide it towards the near post, but he can only, unfortunately, guide it behind the post. But a good first chance from Granada as she was talking through the Molde lineup. I apologise.
No, it's all good. You've got to butt in whenever there's chances. But overall, as we said, it's a very tough game to predict in how it's going to go. What do you think is going to happen? Who do you think is going to be the team that wins this? Because as a punter, you'd be saying Granada.
Yeah, I think overall it's what you said earlier, Josh. Granada never been in the tournament before. Molde had only ever got to the round of 32. This is the tie that is the most unknown, because none of them have ever been to this stage before. So I'm expecting a tight two legs, to be honest with you. But as you said, Granada impressed a lot of people in last season's La Liga. Not as impressive this year, but I think over the two legs, I'm going to back my boys, Molde, who are my new, kind of guilty pleasure in the Europa League.
Of course, you've got to back them. Should be a really interesting match tonight. One of those, as you said, which you can't really predict the score of the game. But thank you very much, Kale. Kale's going to be watching Granada Molde. So once again, very quickly, for those of you wondering who's covering what tonight, I'm covering Olympiacos Arsenal, which I've got to say, there's been two early chances in this game where Arsenal could have put the ball into the back of the net. They had a shot that hit the bar, and then Odegaard, who had a chance. So it could have easily been 2-0 Arsenal in the first 10 minutes, but still 0-0 in this one. Tottenham Hotspur Zagreb is covered by Adam tonight. Roma Shakhtar is covered by Will. And of course, I said a moment ago, Granada against Molde is covered by KL. So there is a look at all of your lineups. We've got some really, really brilliant games to come tonight. Hopefully, we get the goals, because you might have missed earlier on today. We had a few other games going on, which were the 5:55 p.m. round of 16 matches. And we had four quite interesting games overall. First match being Manchester United against AC Milan, probably the best tie of the round in terms of the two teams. Plenty of historic experience of winning trophies, but left in a stalemate tonight. It all started off with Amad Diallo with a fantastic header to put Manchester United in the lead, but in the 90th minute, Simon Kjaer, who's been one of AC Milan's best signings of the last few years, in my personal opinion, was able to get a late goal in that match and get them that all-important away goal they need to head back to Italy in the second round, which takes second leg even, which takes place next week. So that one is currently at 1-1. Slavia Prague taking on Rangers. I think there were a lot of people expecting Rangers to go out there tonight and be ruthless in front of goal, but that one ended 1-1 in the end. It was Slavia Prague who took the lead quite early on in the game. It was Nicolas Stanciu who got the original goal in that match. I think it was within the first kind of 15-20 minutes of the match. And then Helander, 36th minute, got a goal to his name, put Rangers back in the match, and that one stays as a 1-1 stalemate, with Rangers going back to the Ibrox next week for the second leg. We saw, of course, I was watching Dynamo Kyiv against Villarreal earlier. Very, very enjoyable game to watch for certain parts of the match. Villarreal getting an early goal, half an hour into the game from Pau Torres. And then Kyiv looked like they were going to get back into the match, had a few little opportunities here and there to get a few goals on the board, but they didn't in the end, and Villarreal punished them with their other centre-back, Raul Albiol, getting a goal to his name, which means you would expect the Spanish side to probably be one of the first teams through to the next round. But even more in a comfortable position, Ajax, who took on Young Boys a little bit earlier on today, a fantastic result for Ajax, considering the way that Young Boys surprised everyone when they played against Bayer Leverkusen. They find themselves this time 3-0 down in this match. They're going to have a lot of work to do. The first goal of the match came from David Klassen in the 62nd minute, and that really allowed the match to just open up. Dusan Tadic gaining 8 minutes before the 90th, and then Brian Brobby, who actually scored in the last match as well against Lille the week before, or 2 weeks before, got himself a goal in the 92nd minute. And that should surely mean Ajax are through to the next round. But never say never, because the Europa League does certainly bring up some surprising results, especially in the second leg, which you haven't seen, by the way. We've got loads of Europa League content, which is available on the channel if you haven't seen it already. If you want some half-time viewing, then I would highly recommend checking out thesports-corner.com. The link is in the chat, as always, in the description, and Kyle always tends to put it in. Well worth checking that out. Lots of content on there. There's a piece about Molde, which Kyle did. I did a piece on 4 of the best UEL knockouts fixtures of the last decade, so do go check them out. And maybe, who knows, might be a few more interesting knockout fixtures tonight. But as it stands, we're 15 minutes in, or around about the 15th minute mark of some of the games, and we are 0-0 across the board tonight. And I wouldn't expect many incredible first leg fixtures. A lot of these games kind of well in the balance. You know, Olympiacos Arsenal is always going to be a nervy one just because of the past experience from these two sides. Roma Shakhtar is fairly even on paper. Granada Molde, who knows what's going to happen with that one? Could be an exciting game. And then Zagreb Tottenham looks like the most kind of open-ended match. Well, not sorry, open-ended. Looks more obvious for Tottenham to go and win it, but you never know with the Europa League. But let's have a look at the comments and see how you guys are doing. As always, Kyle is in the building. He's put, "Hey all, hope Olympiacos beat Arsenal again." You never know. We'll have to find out tonight. They're going to need a little bit of magic here, because Arsenal looking the better of the two teams so far in this match. And saying that, Tierney's whipped a ball in towards Saka. He gets his head on the ball, but it's only the slightest touch, and it'll come towards Partey at the edge of the box, who takes a shot on, and it's miles wide at the end. Real waste of an opportunity. Daz is in the building as well. How are you doing, Daz? Evening, Josh and guys. Hope you're all good in the chat, and hope you're all good as always, Daz. Josh, my counterpart, is in the building. Quality. Have a good night, lads. Thank you very much. And he did ask, any coverage for Bradford City v Harrogate Town on the 17th of April? Who knows? Well, we'll have to find out. Might be something in the future we look to, because I know quite soon, isn't it? We get to the Easter weekend where it's all international football. So we do have League One and League Two going on. So never know. We might have to see, and we might have a few League One and League Two streams going on. Daz put in, won £2 last night. Not too bad. How did you do that? Was it on the bet, by the way, the 20p bet that you put on? And then Kyle, of course, he's on the ball as always. The sports-corner.com, you absolute legend. Thank you for putting that in, buddy. Do go and check it out if you haven't already. Lots and lots of content on there, which is well worth checking out indeed. But we've had our first chance of the night. It's taken us 15 minutes to have that first chance, and it is in the game between Granada and Molde. Two teams. We don't really know how this one's going to pan out, but who's had the first chance of the night, Kieran?
Well, I will say it's been a very interesting game so far. To be honest, it's both teams have had chances, and this one was an absolute golden opportunity for Granada, and it was that man Kennedy who whipped the ball in before, but this time I think it was the captain Diaz who whipped an in-swinging ball from the left-hand side right to the back post, in behind the fullback, and Kennedy just goes to touch it into the net, and it goes through his legs at the back post and agonisingly just trickles wide for a goal kick. But if he connects with that, it's a certain goal, and Granada would be in the league, as Kennedy has another opportunity at goal, and it goes over. Really good game, actually, Josh, even though it's 0-0.
Very good start indeed. Hopefully we can get a few goals before the end of the first half. Thank you very much, Kyle. 15 minutes into that one right now. Granada 0, Molde 0. Looking forward to seeing how that one goes down, because as we said earlier, Granada currently never been in the Europa League before. Got in there last season. It was an incredible feat for the club to get there. As for Molde, as Kyle said earlier, only ever made it to the round of 32. So they're in uncharted territories as well. And for me, Granada have to be one of those teams where if they do go through, you've got absolutely no idea where they're going to finish, because they've got some quality players in the side. Darwin McKees isn't even available tonight, which is a big miss for them. But they've got Golons, who's got lots of European experience. As mad as it is to say, Soldado up top has got plenty of experience in the past. Maybe not at Tottenham, but and the likes of Fenerbahce, Valencia, just to name a few of the clubs that he's been at. So they've got a lot of veterans and experienced players, and that might actually prove handy for them. Could even mean we maybe get a Villarreal Granada knockout stage match, which I'm all down for that. Me and Will, of course, we were on yesterday and we were saying in the Champions League, we want to see some derby matches or just teams from same nations playing off against each other. So, we could potentially see Arsenal v Spurs in the next round of the Europa League if those two clubs get through, which I'm all down for that. But I was also saying as well to Rowan a little bit earlier on, I'm all down for Rangers playing maybe a United or an Arsenal, because we've always had that age-old question of would Rangers be able to do it in the Premier League, and that would be a fantastic occasion overall. But we've got a free kick here, about 35 yards out, which David Luiz is going to hit. We've seen knuckleball free kicks from the Brazilian in the past, most notably in the World Cup a few years ago, and he's going to take this one now. And do you know what? It's a really brilliantly hit shot, but it's straight into the hands of the keeper in goal, Jose Sarr. And in the end, not the most effective effort in the world for Arsenal there. Still 0-0 in this match as it currently stands. But they're coming forward again here. Hector Bellerin, ball lobbed into the box. And it's straight into the hands of Jose Sarr, who I think, even if the ball was put into the back of the net, would have probably been flagged as offside anyway. It looked offside to me. I think the flag was up, but we couldn't see, of course, with the camera angle there. But that is Olympiacos Arsenal. I'm going to be covering that one tonight. Of course, we've got lots of brilliant games still to come over the night tonight. We've got Tottenham still against Zagreb. We've got Roma Shakhtar, which I know Will put in the chat. His stream has just crashed, so hopefully he's been able to get it back up again, fingers crossed. If not, then we'll see what we can do with that. And then Carl's put, no need to thank me, Josh. I'm just doing what I can for you and all. You're absolute legend, Carl. We honestly appreciate it. You're always here and you're always alert when putting in the links in the chat. So you're an absolute legend. But Carl put, I don't know how Arsenal aren't a couple of goals up already. It's been a very, very good start for them. And I think it always comes back to the one problem Arsenal have had. And it's just confidence. This season has been poor. They've not been as effective in front of goal. And ultimately, it's cost them multiple games this season where had they had someone like Aubameyang firing up top, they probably would have won it. But I don't know here, to be honest, have they knocked 2 or 3 goals up in this match, because Olympiacos, they've not really done much in the game so far. They've had little movements here and there to push up the pitch and get into the final third. But Arsenal looking the much better side right now, as you would expect. I mean, the two teams on paper, Olympiacos, I would probably say very similar to Granada, have a lot of experienced players in their side. They've got Valbuena, they've got Bruma, they've got Yann Villa. These are all players who've played in the top levels of football, but aren't good enough for top-tier sides either anymore, or they're just not good at all for top-tier sides. I think Bruma's an example of one of those players that never really lived up to the hype of whatever everyone expected him to, which is why he's at a club like Olympiacos. But for me, it probably should be 2 or 3-0 by this time in the game. But we've got a free kick here for Olympiacos. And I mean, this would be quite interesting if they were to put this in the back of the net. It's going to be Mathieu Valbuena who takes this, former Marseille man. Good to see him still in European football. And in the end, the free kick is absolutely terrible. Doesn't beat pretty much anyone. There wasn't a wall because it was a little bit too far out. It was on the left wing, just, I'd probably say about 20 yards out from goal. So not really far away at all, but it's a terrible cross at the end from Mathieu Valbuena. And the ball goes out of play for a Olympiacos throw-in the end. Really, really sloppy. And a very poor start from the Greek side, who you've got to look at this game and you think to yourself, do Arsenal look at this and think, we've got to go out for revenge? Because that result will probably still be looming a little bit in some people's heads. Arsenal fans probably more than the players. I think there's a few different players in this team that were never there for that result, even though it's been a season. The likes of, I don't think Saka played that game. Partey wasn't there. Odegaard wasn't there. Tierney, I don't think was there. But there's a mistake at the back here. Olympiacos are in. This could be a brilliant chance for El Arabi, and it's straight into the hands of the keeper. And that's literally going to be the slim opportunities that Olympiacos get tonight. They're not going to have many at all. But in the end, whoa, fucking hell, I didn't see that. Jesus Christ. Oh, my Lord. I mean, I literally just saw Will put, wow, Ryan, what a guy. Let me get it up. Ryan with a $20 donation. You absolute legend. God bless your soul, buddy. He put, got a huge bonus at work and paying it forward. Couple of drinks on me, my friend. Who with Sheffield and West Brom do you think will get relegated? Love you guys and keep it up. Do you think Everton will finish above Liverpool? Ryan, you're an absolute bloody legend. Thank you so much for that. The Gareth Bale heart, That's for you, buddy. Greatly appreciated as always. And congratulations on the huge bonus at work too. You're doing it well at work right now, buddy. But in terms of the question that you asked, who with Sheffield and West Brom do you think will get relegated? Newcastle, I think, are on the way down, in my opinion, right now. We were saying before last night, I personally think, for me, Fulham would be unbelievable if they went down. They wouldn't deserve it for the way that they've played this season. And I think teams like Newcastle and Brighton are going to be worrying a little bit about whether they stay up or not. I think they're looking at the table and thinking, as Fulham keep picking up points and we're not, maybe we could go down. And then obviously the other question was, do you think Everton will finish above Liverpool? I mean, if Liverpool don't get their arses moving soon, I can see Everton finishing above them. I think the one problem Everton's had over the last few years is that they've not been consistent enough playing some of the smaller teams in the league. They've changed that this year. And there's something about Everton that makes me think that they could finish above Liverpool. I mean, Will probably disagree with me. He's a Liverpool fan, as you'd expect. He'll think that Liverpool will finish above. But I think right now, there you go. He's put in the chat, Everton will fuck it up. I hope anyway. You never know. I think there'll be a lot of Liverpool fans praying that they do fuck it up in the end. But once again, Ryan, you're an absolute fucking legend. God bless your soul, buddy. Thank you so much for the $20 donation. It didn't even come up at first on my screen, which is why I didn't see it in the end. But you're an absolute godsend. God bless your soul, buddy. Kyle put in, Ryan, you're so generous. Thanks, mate. You're an absolute legend. I tell you what, Ryan, give me 2 seconds here. Let me get the chat up and I will get you as a mod because you fucking deserve it, mate. But we are going to go over to KL because there's been a chance. So while I mod, Ryan, who's had the chance, Kieran?
It was Granada, and as I say, Josh, this game has been genuinely extremely entertaining to watch. And it was a crossing by Kennedy again, and this time Soldado got his head to it, but it was going into the roof of the net before Linda, the goalkeeper for Molde, tipped it over the crossbar. And as I say, both teams are in it, both teams are going for it. It's brewing up very nicely. I hope it doesn't drop the tempo because it's been an extremely fun watch.
Fingers crossed. It should be an interesting 20 minutes left of the first half. Thank you very much, Kale, as always. We've had our first goal of the night. It's taken us about 20-25 minutes for it, but we're going over to Roma Shakhtar. Probably the most interesting tie of the 8 p.m. fixtures. He's got his first goal on the board. The real question is, Will, is it Roma who's taking the lead? Or your favourite side, Shakhtar? Gone one up.
It's Roma who've taken the lead. I've got to be honest, I put in the chat that my stream crashed. I'm still working on it, but in the meantime, I got some audio up. And what I heard is the pressure finally tells. So it sounds like Roma have been dominating the game. I managed to watch the first 10 minutes before my stream crashed. But it says that Shakhtar went sleep at the back. Pedro raced forward for splitting the defence with a pass to his teammate Pellegrini, who took one touch before prodding the ball past Trubin. So it sounds like it's a mess up at the back from Shakhtar, who were fast asleep. And Luca Pellegrini gives Roma the lead. And I said, whoever got the good start in this first leg, it would be huge. And I'm interested to see how Shakhtar respond now because, going 1-0 down, they surely want to get that away goal to make it interesting because if Roma get a few more, they could possibly put the game out of sight. But yeah, Roma with a good start, 25 minutes into the game, Luca Pellegrini with the first goal. Absolutely.
Very good start for the Italian side. Thank you very much, Will. What a man. Can't get the video, still gets the sound for us. So Roma taking a 1-0 lead there, but we're also going over to another one of the games because we've had a goal elsewhere tonight. Tottenham Hotspur up against Dinamo Zagreb. Of course, the Croatian side, champions of the Croatian First Division. Have they got a goal on the board, or have Tottenham taken an expected lead?
1-0 Spurs. Expected, yeah. They've been on top very much this game so far, and Lamela just drove it into the box and hit the post, deflected perfectly into the path of Kane. He just little tap into the goal. Probably the easiest goal he's ever scored in his life, to be fair. But yeah.
And that's another one to his name out of the 16 gazillion he's had this season.
Yeah, I know. Well, he scored 2 at the weekend, didn't he, as well? It's just...
Yeah, exactly. And as you said, with Zagreb right now, have they had any chances in the game, or has it been a bit of a quiet one for them?
I mean, they've got forward a couple of times, but they've had no stonewall chances, really. But it's been mostly Spurs, and I can see I've had them a few more today, to be fair, so far.
Could be a few more goals for you tonight. You always get a look at them, and you might have got it again tonight. Tottenham 1, Zagreb 0. Thank you very much, Adam, as always. We've got a goal elsewhere. They're all flying in now. It's like buses. When one comes in, they all do. We're going over to Granada Molde. Of course, it wasn't going to be my game, was it? Granada Molde, the most unexpected tie in terms of who's going to win it. The question is, who's taking the lead, Kieran?
It's Granada, and unfortunately, it is a defensive horror show from Molde. It's a long ball by the goalkeeper. And what did he say as a kid? You don't let the ball bounce. The midfielder lets the ball bounce. attempt at a recovery clearance by the defender is missed, and it's 38-year-old Jorge Molina one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and he slots it past him, Josh. And you can't keep teaching old dog new tricks, but this old dog's been around for 13 years, and he's on the score sheet again.
Unbelievable. Thank you very much, Kyle. Granada taking a 1-0 lead in that game. Just going to very quickly go through the chat because I know you guys have been putting stuff in. Ryan saying, trying to pay it forward more now we've covered. You're a bloody legend, Ryan. Just thank you so much once again. He put, can you post the other links so I can go support them? Which links? I don't know if there's a conversation going in the chat and I might have missed something, but do tell me in the chat, Ryan, if it's anything I need to send you and I'll send it you over, buddy. But you are a mod, by the way. If you want that mod privilege, if you don't want it, then that is fair. But I've put you down as a mod because you've given us so much support on this channel. You're an absolute legend. And then Winvow, how you doing, buddy? How are you all good? I know you've been in the chat. He says, I was sad about Ronaldo and Messi being knocked out. It's a real shame, isn't it, in the end? And I think he wanted the link for the website. That's what he might have been asking for. So that makes sense as well. But thank you so much, Ryan. You're an absolute legend. Honestly, I'll bow down to you. But let's go on to the game between Shakhtar and Roma, because we already saw a few months ago Roma taking the lead in this game with a 1-0 lead. Shakhtar Donetsk, though, have they had any chances, Will? Or has it been a chance for Roma to make it too?
No, a chance for Shakhtar to instantly reply, and it came from Marlos again. I said it in the games against Maccabi, he's instrumental in what they do. He picks up the ball in midfield, he likes to spray the passes here and there, likes to run at the defence. And the chance comes from Marlos to spraying a pass out to the right-hand side. It's Dodo, the right-back, he's got a bit of pace about him. He gets on the right-hand side, holds the ball up, waits for Junior Rice to get into the box, puts a nice ball into the middle, but it's a good save from Paul Lopez from close range. But, you know, it was a very good chance for Shakhtar to get that instant reply about 28 minutes in now. And Roma, I can already tell Roma, the structure of the team, you know, they're not playing a high line. They're sitting back once Shakhtar get the ball, and they're soaking the pressure up and hitting on the counter-attack. And so far, it has worked for them because they've got that 1-0 lead. But we'll see if Shakhtar can respond. Interesting game so far. Lots of early chances. Thank you very much, Will. As always, Roma 1-0 up against Shakhtar Donetsk as it stands. And I found out what Ryan meant. Are there any other links for you guys? If you guys, Will, Adam, and Kevin, if you've got any other channels that you do and you want to link it in the chat for Ryan, then put it in the chat. I'm pretty sure, of course, we all work on the Sports Corner together, realistically speaking. So unless any of you guys have got other channels that maybe you've done on the side, then link them in the chat. But honestly, thank you, Ryan, once again. You're a bloody legend. We love you on here. You're absolute godsend. That's why you get the mod. And then Winvow's put, Pirelli is going to quit sponsoring Inter and a Chinese company is replacing them. Really? Well, to be fair, actually, I know with all the Chinese stuff at Inter, they've got the Chinese board, haven't they? Which it doesn't surprise me in the end that they're going down that route. And then, of course, Kaylee's put Sports Corner loyalist me. And then Adam's put, I bleed red and black. You love to see it. We love it, honestly, boys. But thank you once again, Ryan. You're an absolute legend. And Will's put, he's a one-channel man. Look at this, honestly. This is how good the boys are. They love it here on the Sports Corner. But honestly, thank you once again, Ryan. You're an absolute legend for all the donations in the past and stuff. You've massively helped us out. And we couldn't thank you enough. And I'll probably keep saying it for the next hour and a half while we're still live. But thank you once again. But we've had goals pretty much across the board tonight in all the games, apart from one, Olympiacos Arsenal, which I honestly do not know how this game hasn't had a goal in it yet. Olympiacos, these last 5 or so minutes, getting back into the game now slightly. Maybe not in terms of possession, but they're having a few little chances here and there. A few mistakes from the Arsenal backline, which has been a bit of a problem at points for them this season. But ultimately, Olympiacos have been dominated so far in this game by the away side. They've had 63% possession, Arsenal. And it's kind of feeling like it's a case of when the next goal goes in rather than how, because Arsenal looking pretty strong tonight, but you never know. It only takes one mistake. We saw it the weekend when they played Burnley. It was one mistake that allowed Burnley to get back into the match. Maybe we're going to see something similar tonight. We'll have to find out. But we're going over to Will once again. What a game it's turning out to be so far. Roma 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 0. There's been another chance in that match, but who's had the chance this time?
It was almost absolute disaster there for Shakhtar. So Vital, the centre-back for Shakhtar, passes the ball back to Trubin. And for some reason, he comes rushing out of his goal to try and clear the ball straight away. There was not really much pressure on the ball. He comes flying out, and as he kicked it, he loses his footing. He skids right across the floor, straight to Mkhitaryan. So the keeper's out of his goal. He comes to Mkhitaryan. He tries to shoot from long range. It just goes over the crossbar. So a big letter for Shakhtar there. I'm with you. I don't know why Piatov wasn't playing this game, and it almost cost him there. But as I was speaking, Mkhitaryan also went down with an injury. So he's receiving treatment right now. So hopefully he's not injured, because obviously he's one of Roma's most influential players.
But yeah, almost 2-0 to Roma there as Shakhtar are now driving forward. And they pull it back to Marlos. They're just kind of probing on the edge of the box. It's been very end-to-end game this so far. Both sides have had their own chances. But as it stands, it's 1-0 Roma. And I'll let you know if anything else happens. I'm predicting a few more goals in this game, yeah.
Who knows? If you get a few more goals tonight, you'll not be complaining one bit. Thank you very much. Well, 1-0 still to AS Roma against Shakhtar Donetsk. Very good start to that match tonight. Lots of opportunities. I think you would have expected a game of that quality. You know, these are two teams who in the past have been quite far, not just in the Champions League, but in the Europa League as well. We saw last season Shakhtar Donetsk make it to the semi-finals before they were, funnily enough, knocked out by an Italian team, and they were battered by a very, very good Italian team in Inter Milan. And it's looking like tonight, with the way it's sounding, maybe not a battering, but it's going to be a tricky game for them to get through. AS Roma, of course, having multiple experience across the board in the biggest competitions. They've been in the Champions League before and been to the later stages of the rounds in the competition. I think we'll always remember the not the Arsenal, I said Arsenal because I just saw it on my screen. The Barcelona game where they beat them incredibly with the Manolas late winner. They had the semi-final, the stop second though, because Aubameyang's in, cuts in, takes the shot on. Good defended by Socrates, who just stops a chance being taken from the Gabonese forward. But we saw him as well play against Liverpool a few years ago when Liverpool got to the finals of the Champions League. I think it was the year when they got to the final with Real Madrid, and that was an absolute incredible match. I think I remember 9 goals and scoring 1 or 2 screamers in that match. It was incredible. But they've been to a lot of late stages in these competitions, and it might be bad to go to the latter stages of the Europa League again. But they've got a long way to go. Still another about 10 minutes, I would say, of the first half left, and still a second leg to go. But Odegaard's going on for a long range effort here. Oh, what a goal! That is unbelievable by Martin Odegaard. And we had an absolute screamer from Messi yesterday. And I mean, he's brilliant, brilliant goal. Let's not take it away from him. It's an absolute thunder strike from the Norwegian. I don't know here whether the goalkeeper should do better, but it's a moment of brilliance from the one player that was brought in on loan from Real Madrid that was needed to be brought in for a bit more creativity in the team. And I tell you what, that is a moment of sheer brilliance from Martin Odegaard. He just takes it on and it goes into I think it goes into the right-hand corner. I don't really want to say whether the keeper should do better here or not, but in my personal opinion, looking at the goal from an angle where the camera is facing down the goal, Jose Sarr has got to do better there. In fact, he gets a hand on the ball, but it rather hits his palm, so he doesn't get a proper touch on it. And then in the end, it ricochets off the palm. It goes into the back of the net. And take nothing away from that strike. It's sheer brilliance from Martin Odegaard. And to be honest, it's absolutely what Arsenal deserve in this game. They've had numerous opportunities to make it 1-0 in this match, and they get the goal that they need. And fantastic news for everybody. We've had goals in all 4 games, which is nice. It means that none of us will be going home empty-handed with results. But 1-0 now to Arsenal, and they are going to be under some pressure to maybe back. Well, I'm not saying pressure, but they'll be hoping to bag a few more tonight. I think with how this game has panned out so far. But we are going to go over to Will, I think, because there has been an injury in that game, as we said. Mkhitaryan coming off with an injury, it looks like, being forced off in the game. I'm guessing Edin Dzeko's come on?
No, he's not. It's Villarreal that's come on for him. To be honest, Josh, I don't even know how he got injured. I think it was when he went for the long range shot to try and lob it into the open goal. I think he might have also slipped. I mean, I don't know what it is, but a lot of players are slipping tonight on this pitch. It seems like it's a very wet pitch, but yeah, Mkhitaryan, I think he took a tumble as he took the shot, and he's kind of pulled a muscle, I think. He got taken off, he tried to come back on, but in the end, there's no point risking an injury when there's something is clearly wrong with him. So they brought on Villarreal, but again, not what Roma would have wanted. 35 minutes into the game, already forcing him making a change, and one of the better players, Mkhitaryan, who's had a good game so far, so he'll be pretty good about that. But yeah, 35 minutes in, we've not had many chances the last 5 minutes or so. But Shakhtar very much are still in this game, but I just worry if they can actually break down this Roma side because it's looking very, very strong at the back tonight.
Thank you very much, Will. Still 1-0 to AS Roma in that match, looking very defensively organised. Did you expect a team like Roma to be, considering we always know Serie A sides tend to be very well organised at the back, and it looks like Roma are doing that tonight. Just have a look, see what you guys have been saying in the chat. Kyle, I think I deleted the link in the end. If I got the right one, I think so. That should be gone in the chat. Daz asked, who do you think will win the Europa League, Josh? I've got to say, for me right now, the one team I personally think could go on and win it. Well, I'll say two, actually. One of them being Tottenham. I think Tottenham, they've got a manager with plenty of experience in these competitions. I think Spurs right now, just being on a good run of form, helps confidence levels and stuff. And I think if they can go out there and get a good result against Zagreb tonight, it might kill the tie off fairly quickly. So I think Tottenham, for me, are going to be up there. And then, as I said in the stream earlier on today, in the early kickoffs, Villarreal. I think they've got, again, another manager who's got so much experience of winning this particular trophy that I feel like Villarreal don't have to go out there and play magnificent football to win it. They're not playing dirty. They're not playing rigid. They're playing quite okay football, but they've got somebody who knows how to win this competition. And I feel like Villarreal could be up there as one of the sides maybe to go on and win it, or at least reach the semi-finals or the finals of this competition. But I mean, in terms of the next round, it's very similar to what me and Will were saying last night in our stream. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, if Tottenham and Arsenal do go through, I want to see those two face off against each other. I think that would be incredible to have a North London derby in the Europa League. I think it's something that maybe even Tottenham and Arsenal fans are kind of hoping for, because it'd be a really, really exciting occasion to have take place in the Europa League. Or even something like a Man U Rangers. I think that'd be nice as well. But I'll stop for a second, because there's a chance here for Olympiacos to come forward. Ball's been lobbed into the box towards Yusuf El Arabi, but he's good defended in the end by Granit Xhaka, who comes back, plays as a centre-back for the moment there, and eventually heads the ball away. And of course, at least he hasn't made a mistake tonight. I don't think it's a situation he will want to remember for quite some time. He'll have probably got that well and truly over his head tonight. But this is a really good opportunity for him to kind of get Arsenal fans back on his side after that mistake against Burnley a few days ago. But Kyle, as you said, all right goal, but the keeper should be saving that. I mean, it's a brilliant, brilliant finish in the end, in just in terms of the fact that he took it on. But because, as I said, when I first saw it, I didn't get to see what angle it was from. When you look at the angle where it faces down on the goal, like a kind of like a helicopter cam or a plane cam, however you want to call it, yeah, it's one of those where he has to be saving that. And it's not even a case if he's unlucky. He has to just punch it away, but he doesn't in the end. And it's a decent goal for Odegaard, but it is a little bit of shoddy keeping as well on the side, which is why usually I'd probably get a little bit more excited like I did with the Messi goal last night. I mean, the Messi one was just brilliant, but there's a mistake at the back. And how have Olympiacos not scored? Oh, it should be 1-1. It really should be 1-1. And it's a mistake from David Luiz. And it's Leno who plays the ball to Brazilian. He takes a really awful touch, and then he plays it into the path of the number 19, who I think is Masouras, is on the left wing today. And all he's got to do is just keep the shot down, and he's probably going into the back of the net because Leno is a little bit further away to his left-hand side of the near post. And he just puts way too much power into it. And you think in that situation, if you can make it 1-1 in the game, Arsenal are going to be looking a bit nervous again. A defensive mistake at the back, but he just doesn't put it in the back of the net. And as I said, Olympiacos tonight, they're not going to get many chances in front of goal. There's not going to be many opportunities as such. They've got to take every chance they get, and they just didn't there. And it should be 1-1. It should be 1-1. I don't know if people will agree or disagree and say maybe it's a bit of an awkward angle for him, but I should be sat here. I could say celebrating, but I should be sat here saying it's 1-1 and it's a square game. But somehow Arsenal let off the hook there. And we know in the past, especially over the last couple of weeks and months, they make a hell of a lot of defensive mistakes, which is just something that has become so natural to the club quite recently. And it was the play out from the back. You know, Leno had every right to pass it to David Luiz. It was just his awkward first touch that really put him in a bad position. But saying that, Bellerin's going to come forward here. Maybe they could make it 2-0, and that moment would be quickly forgotten about. Odegaard, lovely chip ball to Willian, who tries to head it into the path of Aubameyang, but he's nowhere near. And the ball is cleared away by Barr at the back. But now, Olympiacos, they've got the ball back here. It's going to be El Arabi just playing a little bit deep, and he'll eventually play it into Ryabchuk at the back line. So it's been quite calm from Olympiacos. I think they know themselves, even though Arsenal got the away goal in this game, there will be one or two more chances in this match, just with how Arsenal have been over the last few weeks, where they might have a chance at goal. and they've got to take them. They have to take them. And talking about taking chances, they're coming forward here. It's going to be Jan and Via on the right wing. Now going to play the ball into Bruma, who for me is one of those players tonight that you kind of hope puts in a good performance because, of course, funnily enough, I got to watch both of these teams play last week. I watched Olympiacos against PSV, where we saw them get that late goal. Ahmed Hassan, the Egyptian in the end, who got the winning goal to take Olympiacos through to the next round. There's going to be a chance here for him to come forward, and it's Watchalong's puts the ball into the box, trying to get towards Jan and Via, and eventually it's cleared away by Gabriel Magalhaes, and it might actually now lead to a Arsenal counter-attack. It's going to be Bukayo Saka down the right wing. Got plenty of space to move into. He's got Odegaard overlapping, but he's going to take it on his own. Plays the ball to Willian on the left wing inside the box. The Brazilian's going to try and cut in and take the shot on. And in the end, the goalkeeper, slight deflection on the Williams shot, goes straight into the hands of Jose Sarr. But it was just stretching there a little. Came off Socrates, and he got to watch out because that ball was quite high there for the moment. And if that had dipped just a little, it could have actually gone into the back of the net. But it doesn't in the end. We're just seeing that chance again from, I think it was Mazoras. You see the angle where it's kind of showed it from behind the player. It's a terrible, terrible shot. It's not even put on target, which is just so poor. But they will have the chances. And they're going to have a free kick here, just past the halfway line. Gabriel Magalhaes looks to have fouled. I think it was Watchalong's has gone down. It's going to be Gabriel who gets a yellow card in the match. And we've had a few yellow cards already. Gabriel going to the book. Watchalong's and Jan and Via as well going into the book tonight. And it's actually looking like Jan and Via is playing as a centre-back tonight, which is an interesting show. I don't know if Bar picked up an injury. It doesn't actually look like Bar's playing. So I think Bar must have picked up an injury earlier on. And Jan and Via is playing as a centre-back alongside Socrates Papastafopoulos. So looks like a slight change before the match, which I didn't even realise, to be fair. It just looked like Bar was on the pitch today, but actually doesn't look like he is, which is a real shame because for me, he's a brilliant centre-back for Olympiacos. Done a lot for them over the last few years when he was there. Scored a few important goals for them in cup competitions, and I think he scored a crucial goal last season for them in the Europa League. I think it actually might have been the Arsenal game as well, from a corner or something like that. But either way, it doesn't look like he's on the pitch tonight. But Olympiacos is going to come forward here. It's going to be Bruma, who slipped in the end and gave the ball away to Saka. And now this might lead a potential chance for a counter-attack for Arsenal. It's going to be Aubameyang on the left wing, looking to come forward here. You'd expect him to try and get on the score sheet tonight. He's in the box. He slips over, but somehow gets the ball to Willian. Does very well there. And the Brazilian, he's going to cut in. Tries to play the ball to Saka. And in the end, it's very good defending at the back by Socrates Papastafopoulos, who just gets the sliding tackle in. I think it's going to add a play for a Arsenal corner. As it looks like, I think Kamara has gone down injured. We'll have to see here. Yeah, Mady Kamara just gone down injured there. Looks like it's from a foul. Well, not a foul, sorry. It was from a tackle from Odegaard, but he's gone down and doesn't seem to be getting up. But he should be all right, in my opinion, as Arsenal are given a corner here. But Winvows asked, will VR be in effect tonight? And which game? They are in effect for all 4 games tonight, Winvows. So we might have maybe VAR come up at some point in these matches, depending on what happens. But they're in effect for all the Europa League games tonight. So it might come in handy at some point, depending on what goes on across the 4 matches. But we're going to have that corner here for Arsenal with a minute of additional time. And it's going to be Willian who takes it. I mean, if you could make it 2-0 before half-time, then it's going to be quite a tough ask for Olympiacos to get back into this. They're going to play it short, just to Saka. Then it's switched to Hector Bellerin on the right wing. A little bit of a heavy pass from Saka, which makes it awkward for the Spaniard. And the corner's wasted. It's played all the way back into the path of David Luiz and all the way back to Leno. So real waste there of a good chance maybe to make it 2-0. But maybe a little opportunity here for Olympiacos to have one chance. Jan Villa tries to hoof the ball away. Eventually comes towards the path of Partey. Now into David Luiz has been tripped. Referee's going to say no to the free kick. I thought that was a free kick there. I might be wrong, but it looked to me to be a foul. But Kamara's coming forward here with 10 seconds left. That is a crunching tackle from Thomas Partey, but a very, very good one from him. And he just stops a little opportunity for Olympiacos to maybe have one chance before half-time as the referee looks at his watch and he blows the whistle. And that is going to be half-time in this game between Olympiacos and Arsenal. And as you can see in this match, 1-0 as it currently stands in the game. Not really being many chances for Olympiacos tonight. Few opportunities here and there for them. The best chance going to Masouras, who had a really good opportunity from a David Luiz mistake at the back. But ultimately, in the end, it's Arsenal who take the lead. It was a fantastic opportunity from Martin Odegaard, taken from outside of the box. Should have been saved by the keeper a little bit. Poor keeping in the end from the Portuguese goalie. And Arsenal take the lead in this match. But it could have been more. It could have been much more. And they go into the break at 1-0. Which I think Arsenal fans will be quite happy with. They've played a pretty decent game, in my opinion. Had lots of opportunities, which we'll talk about, of course, in a moment. But I've just seen Kale's just put, Magnus Wolf Ikrem just pulled the best temper tantrum he's seen. Well, of course, we'll have a look at that in a second at half-time. We'll ask him about Ikrem's tantrum. But we are also at half-time in the other London side that is playing in this game. Half-time, Tottenham 1-0 up in their game against Dinamo Zagreb. Good result potentially for them. We'll come over, of course, to Adam in a little moment, which means Granada Molde, Roma Shakhtar still going on in the background. I think I would assume probably both of them getting towards half-time at the very least. That Shakhtar Roma game looking like a very, very interesting one on paper. But what we will do is we will go over to Adam first, as it has it half-time in the game between Shakhtar and Roma, 1-0 in that one. And we'll talk through the Tottenham game, because Tottenham, of course, coming into this match tonight, a lot of eyes are going to be placed on them, maybe as one of the favourites to win the Europa League, not the Champions League, I keep saying it, the Europa League. But so far, Adam, 1-0 up in the game. Harry Kane with a goal. Good performance so far?
Yeah, it's been pretty faultless, to be honest, from Spurs. Definitely. Haven't really put a foot wrong, you know. I think the only problem is not scoring enough goals, really. They could do with another couple, to be honest, to stay out the tie. And I think that if we get 2 more in this game, I reckon that's the tie done and dusted, really. The way that they're playing is actually really well. And Zagreb haven't had a chance at all, really. So,
yeah, I'm looking at the stats right now. 6 shots for Tottenham, 1 on target. Zagreb 3 shots, 2 on target, which probably doesn't feel like they've had 2 shots in the game.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah.
Nearly 70% possession for Tottenham. It's kind of how you expected it to go, isn't it, really? Tottenham dominating, similar to this Arsenal match. Yeah. They need to score a few more, though, as you said. They don't want to get the away goal for Zagreb.
Definitely, yeah. If they give that away, then they've got a bit of a task in the away game, because you can kind of see if Zagreb nick a goal now, they'll sit back the whole game and they'll take a 1-0 back to their place, won't they? So, but yeah, the Spurs is kind of missing the final third ball, just to kind of get them the goal. Like the goal anyway from Kane was quite lucky off the post. So if they create more in the final third, they'll definitely be winning this tie.
Absolutely, you've got to take every goal, regardless of whether it's a good one or a bad one. But Tottenham, 1-0 up right now. Who's been the best player on the pitch in the first 45?
I think Lamella's done very well so far. He kind of created the goal. He did unintentionally, but he's looked quite strong in the game. Yeah, so definitely Lamella.
He always turns up in the Europa League. Thank you very much, Adam. 1-0 as it currently stands in that game between Spurs and Zagreb. We'll bring Adam, of course, back on later on when we do get into the second half of the fixtures. But he's not had the goals that he usually gets. He's usually had about 4 or 5 by now. So he'll be hoping maybe he gets a few more in the second half. But 1-0 will do for the Spurs fans, as I said, dominating the game so far, looking really calm and composed. And very similar to this Arsenal Olympiacos game, there's going to be plenty of chances tonight for Spurs to get maybe 2, 3, 4 in the match. We'll come on to Olympiacos Arsenal in a little bit. That one's at 1-0. But we will go over to another game, which is 1-0. Funnily enough, of course, all of them 1-0 right now. Let's go over to Will, because Roma currently 1-0 up against Shakhtar Donetsk. This one's probably had the most chances of the night where we've gone over to Will to see what's happened. But overall, Will, we started off that first 15, 20 minutes where it looked like Shakhtar were getting dominated. Has it changed since then?
No, I'd say Roma deservedly lead the game. I think Shakhtar have had more possession, but it's just been like kind of defensive areas, midfield areas. You know, the possession, it's not like they've been threatening with the possession they've got. Shakhtar, Roma, like I said, they've looked really solid at the back. They've created more chances. And the goal, which I actually missed because my stream crashed while listening to on the commentary, apparently Pedri played a phenomenal through ball, and Lorenzo Pellegrini put it away with a nice finish. Mkhitaryan obviously went off injured, which were a big shame because he was playing very well before he went off. But yeah, Roma have been the better side without a doubt. I think I need to see more for Shakhtar in the second half. I think they might have had 2 shots on target, maybe.
they had a good chance of Junior Moraes, but it was a good save from Pau Lopez in goal. But yeah, Roma deservedly lead. I mean, I'm interested to see what Roma do now in the second half. If they sit back, if they come out and try and get another goal, but they are definitely in command of this game.
Yeah, spot on. Looking at the stats right now, 5 shots free on target for Roma. Exactly as you said, they've had 2 shots in the game, both on target for Shakhtar. The Wayside dominating possession. Well, I'm saying dominating slightly. 59% to 41% for Roma. I asked you this question last time. I think we sat here in the first leg when they played Maccabi. It was 0-0. What does Shakhtar have to do in this game to get at least a goal on the board? Because they're going to need that away goal going into the second leg.
Just kind of a bit more direct. They seem very hesitant when going forward, and Moraes, he's not got a lot of support. You know, like I said, they're dominating the midfield areas and the wide areas in the defensive part. Once they get forward, it seems like a few Roma players converge and press on them, and they lose the ball straight away. I don't know what it is, but maybe bring on some fresh legs. Maybe go to a maybe a 4-3-3 instead of a 4-2-3-1. Get another midfielder in there, and put the 2 wingers out to support Moraes, because if Moraes gets a chance, he's probably going to score it because he's a good finisher, but he's just not getting the service that he was in the Maccabi Tel Aviv game. So maybe change the formation a bit, but something needs to change. I don't know what it is, but something needs to change because they are not in this game at all right now.
Got a lot of work to do. Shakhtar currently 1-0 to Roma. Thank you very much, Will. We'll bring Will back in a little bit. It's a little bit of a tongue twister, that. We'll bring Will back in a little bit when the second half does take place. 1-0 in that match. Looking good right now for Roma, as you'd expect. You think they're probably going to be one of those teams that might get through to the next round. But never say no to Shakhtar. Very good team on the day. Manor Solomon maybe could come on later on and make a difference. We'll have to find out indeed. But as we said, all 4 games, funnily enough, right now, 1-0 across the board. We're going to go over to the last match from the 3 guys tonight watching on in the background. Granada taking on Molde. We came into this game looking at it and thinking, do you know what? This is a very even match overall. Don't really know how this one's going to pan out on paper. But so far, it's Granada who've taken the 1-0 lead in the match, Kieran. So far, so good for Granada, or have Molde got back into it?
I'd actually say so far, so good for both teams. Actually, it's going to be, it's one of them where I think Molde will be happy enough with that first half. And to be honest, Granada, I would say, have had the more clear-cut opportunities in the game. But to be fair to Molde, they're not sitting back. They're not 2 bags of 4 and hoping to get out of here, just not having the deficit. They've gone forward and they've played. And I tell you what, the right back, Helmgren Pedersen, I think he's called, the overlapping runs he's making are causing Granada all sorts of problems. The only issue Molde have had is the fact that their final ball is just a little bit off when they're creating these opportunities. And also, for themselves, their goal that they gave up was just a defensive lapse. They stay solid defensively, and they've got a 0-0 draw here. But they're playing they're playing fearlessly, I think, here, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, look at the stats of the game. It doesn't like a bad match overall. Granada 7 shots free on target. Molde 2 shots none on target. So they're still waiting for that first big chance of the match. But they've had more possession, 59% to Granada's 41%. They've had a lot more passes in the match, as you would expect. Of course, they're trying to keep as much of the ball as they possibly can. 4 corners in comparison to Granada's 5. When you look at the stats overall, they're still well and truly in this match, but they just need to get a bit more of a clinical edge, and maybe they can get that away goal that really put them in a good position against Hoffenheim last time.
Yeah, they've not been afraid to play. That's been the most admirable thing about Molde, and the way that they have kind of attacked this whole competition. A 3-3 draw with Hoffenheim, and then they beat them away from home. It's what they've done. They've had to take the amount of shots of them, but they had 2 shots on target against Hoffenheim, and they won 2-0. So when that chance eventually comes for Molde, I don't look too much into the fact that they've not had a shot on target. For them, they've played through the stages, and they've been very, very impressive. But as for Granada, first time in the tournament, and they'll be more than happy with the goal from Jorge Molina, capitalising on the mistake. And of course, we had Magnus Wolf-Eikram's tantrum at the end. Oh my God.
What was going on there?
Well, speaking of a bad final ball, it was Helmgren Pedersen. It was the final kick of the half. And it was just, a little bit of a wayward cross. And I look, and I just see on the edge of the box doing tuck jumps on the hill, genuinely stomping into the ground, doing like a high-intensity workout. It's Magnus Wolf-Eikram flailing his arms about as everyone's walking to leave the pitch. It's brilliant.
Do you know what, though? It shows passion, which is what this Molde side have got. And if they can get a goal in this game, maybe go in 1-1 at full time, it's the result that they need.
Yeah, they're not out of this. I will say that they'll have a chance in this second half. Whether it'll end up in a goal, we don't know. But I think there's chances for both sides in this game. I know it's kind of a cliche thing to say, and in football it sometimes makes sense. The next goal's the crucial one for me.
Yeah, absolutely. 1-0 right now between Granada and Molde. Thank you very much, Kyle, as always. Greatly appreciated. We'll bring Kyle back a little bit later on, of course, when we do get into the rest of the matches a little bit later on. Still lots of action to come. But let's very quickly talk about the other game that was going on. Olympiacos 1-0 up against Arsenal, which this game has had plenty of chances, specifically for Arsenal. Really, in that first 10 to 15 minutes, they dominated the match. And I did think to myself that we were eventually going to get a goal in this game. It wasn't a case of how, but when. And we did. It was the first goal of the night going to Martin Odegaard. Did very, very well indeed to get himself on the score sheet. It was a lovely long-range effort. However, when you actually watch it back, you do have to question the goalkeeping that was taken on with Jose Sarr. Not the best goalkeeping in the world. It probably should be, in my opinion, an opportunity that is saved by him. But he doesn't in the end. And Arsenal take a 1-0 lead. But we had other chances in the match for Olympiacos. The best opportunity of the game was Masouras, who got the ball from a mistake at the back from David Luiz. All he had to do was keep the shot down and curl it into the bottom right-hand corner because Leno was in a bit of an awkward position. And he just wasn't able to. I think it was one of those situations where it was a little bit erratic, got a little bit too energetic about the situation in hand. And, of course, by the time he'd taken on the shot, it's pretty much over the bar and out of play for a goal kick. But they're going to have more chances tonight. When you look at the stats of the game, Arsenal have had 9 shots, 5 on target. They could have, as I said, easily had 3 or 4 in this game with 58% possession. Olympiacos have had 4 shots, only 1 on target with 42% possession. But they know tonight there'll be more opportunities to come forward. They've got to capitalise on them because Arsenal now have the away goal, which is not a case of Arsenal needing it because you expect them as being one of the biggest sides in Europe to just go out there and dominate games anyway. But Olympiacos, they need to get a goal on the board because, of course, that one goal for Arsenal will mean a hell of a lot going into that second leg, especially if it stays 1-0 because it could kill the tie off fairly quickly. And they need to make sure they just stay calm and stay focused because right now, if Arsenal go in after the 90 minutes at 2-0, 3-0, this tie is pretty much done and dusted. And all those fans worrying about Olympiacos cannot be worried anymore, although the Europa League does bring up many surprises. And there's a long way to go in this competition. So 1-0 across the board in all of tonight's games. Don't forget, we've got more content to come over the next few days. Specifically, tomorrow morning, you can join Rowan for A-League Fridays live on the channel. He's going to be covering tomorrow a brilliant game between Melbourne City and Macarthur Bulls. Macarthur Bulls currently sat in second. Melbourne City coming off the back of a 6-0 win against Melbourne Victory, their rivals. It's a big result for them in the end. That's going to be a brilliant game. Rowan will be live from 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. You do not want to miss out on it. It's going to be very interesting tomorrow with all of the late A-League action as always. And then don't forget that for those of you that are wanting to take part in the UCL competition that we've got going on, spaces are filling up for this competition now. It is a free-to-play UCL FIFA Sim tournament. It is taking place soon. The reason why I'm not giving a date out specifically yet is purely because we wanted to fill up the names before we started planning on dates to do it. We've got about 9 spaces left because I know there was another name in the chat that asked to take part in the tournament earlier on, which I've noted down, so we'll put him onto the list. There's about 9 or 10 spaces left in the competition. We're running out now. It is going to get tweeted out again, so I'm hoping the spaces fill up very quick. Once we've got the 32 names down, we'll then confirm a date for when it's going to take place. And we'll start the tournament overall. It's going to be a sim tournament, so you don't need an Xbox or a PlayStation to play. You don't even need FIFA to play because it'll be the AI that controls your team. The 32 teams will be the teams from this season's Champions League. So you could get yourself Real Madrid, but you could also get yourself Istanbul Basaksehir here. It's going to be the luck of the draw because we will do a live draw, of course, before we do the tournament. So if you want to play, as always, as I said, put your name down in the comments below. The winner will get themselves a cash/gift card prize. It won't be a big prize. It'll be a little one, but it's just a thank you for 1, taking part, and 2, for all the support on the channel, for what you guys have brought, because you've been absolutely brilliant indeed. And most of all, it's free to play, so why not just put your name down? Because you never know, you might be winning yourself a little bit of cash in the background. So that is the UCL FIFA Sim tournament. Don't forget as well, if you want a little bit of halftime view, and I know, of course, we're getting back into the games in a second, then you can check out our social media links as always. Our Twitter is @the_top corner, and our Instagram is _sportscorner_. Do go and check those two pages out. We always post on Twitter and Instagram when we go live on this YouTube channel, as well as when we post articles up on our website, which is thesports-corner.com. And if you haven't actually seen the website, then here's a quick look at the website before the games do continue on. There is lots of content available on there, as always. And it's well worth getting on there, because this is how it's looking right now. We've got plenty of pieces up on the website. Will did a little piece earlier on about NBA, so well worth checking that out if you're a big basketball fan. KD, earlier on today, put a Premier League team of the season so far. So if you're wanting to look at maybe who has been the better players in the Premier League, then I do recommend checking that out. And we've got a whole host of other pieces as well, including a few Europa League themed pieces. I've got 4 of the best Europa League knockout fixtures of the last decade. And then, of course, if you want to know a little bit more about Molde, who are the surprise package of the Europa League so far, then do go check out KL's piece. It's a brilliant, brilliant piece indeed. But we've got loads of content on there. We have a live section where you can actually check out our YouTube video, but it's not working right now, so we're going to try and sort that out for next time. But there's new articles available every single day, so why not check it out? Because it is a very, very good website indeed. There's been so much effort put into it. We're really trying our hardest to keep it as up to date as we possibly can. And as I said, there are pretty much 2 or 3 articles right now up there every single day, so do go and check it out. That is the sports-corner.com, as Kyle always does, because he's an absolute legend. He's put the link in the chat, so well worth checking that out indeed, if you haven't already, because it might be good to check that out at full time, because maybe if Molde are winning, you might want to know a little bit more about Molde. Maybe if Roma are 2-0 up, you might want to see whether Shakhtar have ever had a good comeback in the Europa League. You don't know. You'll have to find out, of course, to see all of those links, what we've got in the chat. I was going to try and say something about NBA, but it's very hard to link NBA to football, so a little bit tough on that one. But as I said, go and check out the website. It's very, very good indeed. But we're back on the way now with the second half of fixtures across the board, I would assume, or some of them still waiting to get back into it because of additional time. And I'm very thirsty, apologise. As we're going to have a long-range effort taken on here, it's going to be Thomas Partey. A little bit further out, I think, from Martin Odegaard's, but this time the keeper's got it covered. As I believe we did have an actual change at half-time. Mathieu Valbuena came off the pitch and Kostas Fortounis came on. And then we also had another change, Reabchik coming off the pitch. And a very recognisable former Premier League man, Jose Holebas, coming onto the pitch at left-back. So a few players coming on in this game. Olympiacos, as you'd expect, not happy with their performance in the first half. Pedro Martins is in charge of the club, which is, of course, the same manager that was in charge of the club when Arsenal lost to them last time. So he'll be hoping maybe that his tactics can come off good in the end in the next 45 minutes and maybe put Olympiacos in a good position to take the lead in this first leg and put the pressure on Arsenal at the Emirates. But we'll have to see, because there's a long, long way to go in this match. And I can confirm, yeah, it is Jan Envia playing as a centre-back tonight, bar didn't play due to an injury. So that is why you might be wondering why Jan Envia is playing as a centre-back in a makeshift position. But he's done pretty all right so far. You know, Arsenal have had a few chances to come forward in this game, but they've not necessarily done much with them, hence why they're only 1-0 up right now. But when you look across the 4 games tonight, I think there's more goals to come, fingers crossed. You would expect Arsenal to try and go out there and get maybe 1 or 2 more goals in this match, really kill the tie off. So when it does get to the Emirates, they could maybe rest a few players up with a pretty hectic fixture calendar right now with the Premier League and other competitions going on. And the same can be said for Tottenham as well. You'd expect Tottenham maybe to get 1 or 2 more goals in the game, kill the tie off, and then be able to rest a few players up, especially with all the competitions Tottenham are still in. I think they're pretty much left in the majority of them apart from the FA Cup, I think they got knocked out of. So still lots of competitions there for them. Roma against Shakhtar, 1-0 right now to Roma. They've looked pretty solid in the match. It kind of feels like a case of when Roma are going to score a second rather than how. And then Granada Molde, of course, who knows with that one, because Molde looking pretty good in the game so far. But Granada have had the better of the chances at the very least. But not really going much going on these first 5 minutes of Olympiacos Arsenal. I think, as we said before, I think me and Adam were saying before the stream, kind of when you look at these games tonight, and when you look at the actual 16 clubs left in the competition, Sorry, 32 clubs left in the competition even. There's a lot of really kind of average teams left in it. And that's no disrespect to the clubs, but in comparison to other years where maybe you've got a lot of big clubs left, there's been a hell of a lot of big clubs knocked out of the competition early on. Hoffenheim being knocked out, Leverkusen being knocked out, Lille, just to name a few of the big clubs, which could have all easily made it to the latter stages of the competition. And that's where credit has to be given to these smaller teams, the likes of the Moldes and the Olympiacos and the Zagrebs. You know, they went out there, they surprised some of these teams. A lot of clubs would have probably gone in thinking, easy tie, we'll go on and win it. And then they've lost. And I think probably the best example of that was the Hoffenheim Molde one, where I think everybody expected Hoffenheim to go through in the end. And Molde probably put the performance in of their lives in terms of some of the players that maybe never played in a game as incredible as that was for them to go on and eventually get the win across the two legs. So you have to give credit to the smaller teams for what they've done. And it'd be nice to see a few of these smaller teams in the latter stages. We're already going to get one between Granada and Molde. You know, Granada have never been here before, let's not forget. So as much as they're a pretty decent club in Spain, they don't have the experience unlike other clubs. But Zagreb still well and truly in the tie. Olympiacos are still in this game. So you never know. One of those two could go through. And we could have a few more interesting ties in the quarterfinals. But we'll have to find out as these games do continue on. But 40 minutes left on the clock here. Olympiacos 0, Arsenal 1. And it's the Greek side just having a bit of spell of possession. It'll be with Socrates Papastafopoulos, who will definitely be looking tonight to have a little bit of revenge on Arsenal because, well, his career didn't necessarily go great at the club, did it? Very fantastic servant for him. And I don't think there's any bad blood. I think he was one of their better servants of the last few years in terms of what he brought to the club. Always gave his all. And I think a lot of fans said goodbye to him and they'll have fond memories of what he did for the club in the games that he played. But I think he'll also be looking to prove a point tonight. You know, be hungry to lead Olympiacos to maybe win this game and get one over Mikel Arteta. Although I'm going to stop for a second because Tierney's in here. He's going to play the ball to Granit Xhaka. Now back to Kieran Tierney on the left wing. Plays the ball to William, back to Tierney. Again, some good one-touch football from Arsenal here. It's going to be with William, who will play it all the way back to David Luiz, who's going to come forward and still pushes forward. You kind of expect him in these positions to take a shot on from long range, but he won't. It'll be Partey instead who flicks the ball onto the left wing. Inside the box is Tierney. And the Scotsman just struggling to get past Kenny Lala, the former Strasbourg man, one of the best League 8 fullbacks in the last few years. I think he's been a brilliant addition to Olympiacos. Bought him in for €4 million, which in my eyes is an absolute steal. You know, he might only be 28, 29, but he could still play for a good few years at the very highest level, in my opinion. And that's what he's doing at a Champions League. Well, technically, we're a Champions League club at the start of the season, now Europa League in Olympiacos. But I just feel like here they do need to get something fairly soon in this match, Olympiacos, because as the game continues on, you would expect Arsenal at some point to go out there and get a second goal in this match. And I just don't see Olympiacos equalising in this match right now. They're not doing enough, in my opinion, personally, to go out there and get that equaliser early on, which is why I'm a bit worried. Sitting back is not a bad thing against Arsenal, but at the same time, when they've already got an away goal to the name, you kind of need to go out there and get a goal and make it 1-1, because yes, they will still have the advantage overall, but it will certainly put them in a much better position when they go away. If they can bag an away goal against Arsenal and go 2-0, then it'll put them in the driving seat, of course. But going to stop for a second because Aubameyang's in here on the left wing, takes a heavy touch, lays the ball out to Tierney, back to Aubameyang again, who tries to flick a ball into the box towards Bellerin. It's going to come out towards Saka, who I think he was originally actually a ball towards Tierney, and Saka got in the way of it and took the shot on, and in the end it's a bit of a reckless shot from the youngster, who in the last few weeks has died down a little bit for Arsenal. Not being as effective for them, and I know there's a lot of Arsenal fans out there saying maybe we need to rest him up a little bit, give him a break, because he has been playing a hell of a lot of football recently for Arsenal. You know, let's not forget he's still a very, very young player. He's got a long career ahead of him, and the fact that he's only at the age of 19 is bonkers, because he's already a brilliant, brilliant player for the club, and no doubt he's going to get better over time. But just right now, I do feel like maybe they are right. and he does need a little bit of a rest and a bit of a break, because he has played so much football that, even the biggest players in the world still get tired after time. And because he's so young, he's got a long way to go. But Tierney here, good loving ball into the box towards Aubameyang. It's headed by Yann Villa, but it'll come down to Bukayo Saka, the youngster on the ball. Lays it off to Odegaard outside the box. Tries to seek a ball to Bellingham, which he does. It's a lovely ball from the Norwegian, who crosses it into the box. There's a slight deflection in the end, I think. But actually, the referee said it isn't. It's going to have to play for a goal kick. So actually, it just turns out to be good defending in the end by Holibas to stop an opportunity for Saka to put the ball into the box. But we are going to have a change here. Arsenal going to make a substitution. Dani Ceballos is going to be coming onto the pitch. A little bit more creativity in the game. And coming off the pitch is going to be Thomas Partey, which is a bit of an interesting shout. I would assume in this situation it's probably a case of allowing Partey a little bit of a slow return to football. I know he's been playing these last few weeks, but they're looking to take him off. And it might actually just be a case of Arsenal thinking that this game is looking pretty comfortable right now, and they can maybe take one or two players off and bring some other players on to allow them to prove a point in the match. But either way, I think Partey tonight not really had much to do, purely because Olympiacos have been fairly quiet in this game. And just saying that they made a mistake here, and there's loads of space for Aubameyang to play to run into. And Dani Ceballos' first pass of the game is an absolute stinky one, really bad in the end. He literally could have played the ball straight to Aubameyang, but it's an awful touch in the end. But I think you can let him off. First touch there shouldn't be too much of a problem with that situation. But 35 minutes left. Still 1-0 to Arsenal in this game. No other goals elsewhere right now as it currently stands. Tottenham 1-0 up against Zagreb. Roma 1-0 up against Shakhtar, and Granada 1-0 up against Molde. So we'll have to see if there's any more goals elsewhere, which means I get a lovely job of probably just commentating this Arsenal game for the next 45 minutes. It's like a normal watch-along, isn't it, right now? There's not really much going on. It's been a bit of a quiet kind of beginning to this Europa League round of 16, because although we got a load of games, the early ones today, we got 3-0 Ajax, 2-0 Villarreal, 2 goals in that game. A lot of the goals didn't come till quite late on in the match. The Ajax game, the goals didn't come till an hour in. The Kiev Villarreal one was a pretty slow burner in terms of how the goals panned out, but we got 2 in the end, which is a massive thing because, well, usually I don't get goals anyway. And then the United one, of course, AC Milan's equaliser was in the last few minutes of the match. So really slow burner in terms of how we started the Europa League round of 16, which in the long run might actually pay off for better second legs, because this tie is going to be interesting because Milan have got the home advantage, they've got the away goal, and it puts Milan in the driving seat for that second leg. Same with this one for Rangers. They're in the driving seat. They've got the away goal that they needed. Slavia Prague going to have to go to the Ibrox, which has certainly been a tough place to go. And funnily enough, right now, both of these teams still not been defeated this season because they took a draw. So both of them go again without being defeated, which is massive for them. But there's a mistake at the back here. Olympiacos are in. And El Arabi! Oh, it's in! It's in the back of the net. They have done it again. As Lee said, they've done it again. It's a mistake at the back. And, of course, last time, it wasn't a mistake at the back for Arsenal, for how Yusuf El Arabi was to get in. But time and time again, Arsenal have been making mistakes at the back, and it has allowed Olympiacos tonight opportunities. And it's burnt Leno. He tries to play a ball, I think, into Dani Ceballos. It's terrible goalkeeping in the end to play the ball. I think he's Ceballos. Yeah, he's Ceballos. He plays it in the end. El Arabi finds himself in a very good position to get the ball, and he curls it in the back of the net. It's a brilliant finish from the greatest Moroccan player on the planet. And, of course, Leno, because he's out of his goal, he's stretching for the ball. Very nearly got a hand onto it. But it's 1-1, and finally, that is exactly what Olympiacos needed to do in the first 45 minutes, because there's been too many mistakes at the back tonight again from Arsenal, and Olympiacos for me just weren't taking good enough opportunities on goal with it. But Yusuf El Arabi strikes again against Arsenal. I don't know what you say at this point. It's just Arsenal, isn't it? It's just Arsenal. It's an Arsenal thing to concede. They don't know how to play out from the back. It's awful, and I could just picture it right now. All those people on AFTV, they'll be sat there watching it tonight. I don't know. Lee Gunner will be having a mental breakdown. Claude will be crying his eyes out on stream. It's just bad defending again. And I say it every stream. I feel like you could play passing around the back bingo with me, and when I'm going to say that I hate passing around the back. It took till the 60th minute of the game, but I hate it. I hate it. And Arsenal definitely putting themselves up for the award of worst club to pass around the back this season, because Inter Milan are up there, but Arsenal, I think, they're at the pinnacle, they're right at the top of the list right now, and it makes this game really interesting. 1-1. El Arabi, you love to see it. What a man. Coming back to bite Arsenal again. I don't know what it is about him, but he just has a really good tendency to score against them. And it might also allow Olympiacos here to be a little bit more geared up in this game and think, do you know what? We can go on and win it, because we've said before, they've not taken enough chances tonight, Arsenal. They've looked a little bit poor in front of the goal. And Olympiacos will be feeling themselves now. There has been a change as well. Bruma coming off, Rangelovic coming on in this game. So a slight change there as well. And I personally think they'll go for it here, which should make for an interesting last 30 minutes. And first goal of the second half as well. It's been a very long 15 minutes, I'll tell you that for sure. It's felt like about half an hour we've sat there just waiting for something to happen in one of the games. But Arsenal going to come forward here. As James in the chat, how you doing, buddy? Oh, you're good. How the game's going? Just in. Well, currently right now, Olympiacos just scored a moment ago against Arsenal. Terrible mistake from Leno at the back, which allowed Youssef El Arabi to score. It was a brilliant finish from the greatest Moroccan forward there'll ever be. And yeah, basically just Arsenal, isn't it? It's just an Arsenal thing to do. Tottenham 1-0 up against Zagreb, dominated the game for large spells in that one, looking all right in that game, and as you'd expect, Tottenham in the lead. Roma Shakhtar 1-0. Roma doing pretty good so far against Shakhtar, looking very organised at the back. And then Granada Molde still 1-0 in that game. Both teams really even in that first 45 minutes from what KL said. So we'll have to see, of course, what goes on in the rest of that match. But I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know whether this is going to really take the swing out of things for Arsenal. But I'll tell you one thing right now. This is very, very reminiscent of the Burnley game. I feel like this is just Burnley in another kit. And not with how Olympiacos are playing, because they are putting in a lot of opportunities in the box. But it just feels a mirrored image game. As in Arsenal coming forward, Olympiacos, as you'd expect, sitting back at points, allowing Arsenal to have the ball so they can counter-attack. And Arsenal are just not making the most of the opportunities. And then, Burnley go up the other end and score just like Olympiacos have done tonight. And as I said, I feel like it's deja vu. I feel like it's deja vu right now. And a few mistakes there at the back from Olympiacos, just trying to play the ball around themselves, gone out of play for an Arsenal throw-in, but it's mad, isn't it? I mean, James Buck can't lie. I wouldn't be surprised if Spurs put up a fight towards the semis possible final. I was saying that myself before. I think, who was it in the chat that asked me who did I think was going to win the Europa League? It was Daz. He asked me who did I think was going to win it, and I said the two clubs for me that are probably in the driving seat right now and looking hot to win it are Villarreal and Spurs. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Don't count out Ajax as well. They are one of those teams that right now are very, very slowly grinding results out. And I don't think people are noticing what they're doing. And I think they could be up there as well. Let's not forget they were in a final a few years ago against Manchester United and lost it. So I think Ajax have got to be up there. Well worth of a shout to maybe win it. But we're going to go over to KL. Going to be a free kick in the game. At least we've got something to talk about. Granada Molde. Who's got the free kick, Kieran?
It's Molde, and to be honest, Josh, it's just been you talking to yourself for a good while now. So
I'm used to it.
I hope this free kick's worth it, to be honest with you. But to be fair, one thing I will say is I've looked at the benches tonight. One senior player on the bench for Granada, 4 outfield players, and 3 of them are teenagers. 2 of them have never appeared before.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's very weak. So this is the best chance Molde will have. This is a set piece just outside the box. Magnus Wolf-Eichram stands over it. And number 23. Sorry. And number 23.
That is number 23. It's Anderson.
Oh! I tell you what, it's a good effort from Magnus Wolf-Eichram. He goes towards the keeper's side. He's on the left-hand side and he goes toward Rui Silva's side. And Rui Silva has to tip it over the crossbar. But unfortunately, it didn't end up in a goal. But I would have come in just to say a chance. And, oh, look at this, Josh. You join me as a sub is happening, right? So,
perfect. There we go. Gives you even more time to just sit back.
Yeah, and coming off is Hestad, and coming on is Knudsen, I think would be how you pronounce that one. So Hestad off, Knudsen on as Molde. Well, they'll definitely have the fresher legs, considering half of them are teenagers on the Granada bench. But Granada have their one fit substitute senior player getting changed. It is Jesus Vallejo, former Real Madrid and Wolves man.
I have to see if it makes a difference in the game, but thank you very much, KL. 1-0 still to Granada against Molde. Hopefully I'll see before the end of the match, because we've not had many chances so far, and that's about as good as it gets. Although Adam has just put in a chance. We've got a chance of the night. Let's go. Tottenham, of course, 1-0 up against Zagreb right now. Is it a chance for Spurs, or has Zagreb had a rare opportunity, Adam?
It's quite a big chance for Spurs. Just brought on a triple sub. They brought on Bergwijn, Bale, and Moura as well. Lucas Moura. And literally, Bale, as soon as he came on, whipped it back post for Bergwijn, but it's straight at the keeper. But it's a big chance for Spurs to make it 2-0. But in terms of the half so far, it's been the same story as the first half. You know, it's been all Spurs. I think they've still got 70% possession, so just the same, really.
Hopefully you get a goal soon, fingers crossed. Thank you very much, Adam.
So.
No, I'll let you go quickly. Gives me more time to sit back.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, in terms of everything else that's going on, obviously Bale coming on in the match gives you an opportunity maybe to see a few more attacking opportunities in the game. Bergwijn coming on as well. Did you see any of them making a difference in the match?
That's true, yeah, to be fair. I guess so. They look more attacking now. They're definitely going for that other goal out. They're not sitting back and taking the 1-0 then. Obviously scared of going back to Zagreb on just a 1-0 lead. So, especially the way Bale's been playing recently as well, you can definitely see a few goals coming in.
Hey, who knows? We'll have to see what happens. Thank you very much, Adam. 1-0 to Tottenham against Dinamo Zagreb. Can't even say the name there. There we go. So 1-0 in that match right now. Still lots of opportunities maybe in that game for a potential winner. Well, I've said winner, but maybe a chance for Tottenham to win the tie overall, depending on what goes on there. But Olympiacos Arsenal, back to that one right now. 25 minutes left on the clock, and this game has become much more open than maybe Arsenal wanted it to be. Really getting into this game now, Olympiacos. Having a bit more possession, I would say. Still, Arsenal dominating it slightly, 59% to 41%. But you do feel like here Olympiacos could go on and get the win. And they're coming forward again here. It's going to be a chance for, I think he's going to be Watchalong's in the midfield. Now plays it into the path of Kenny Lalo, who's just pushed up the pitch a little bit further here. And it's a lovely ball. Brilliant chance here. Ball in towards El Arabi, and he's missed it. Oh, and that was the chance. And I actually think there might have been a block in the process. Big opportunity there for Olympiacos in the game. And just seeing it now, is a ball put in from the substitute, I think it was. Let me just quickly check to make sure. Yeah, it was the substitute, Rangelovic, who came on, puts the ball to El Arabi, and he's got to be finishing that. Well, there's a slight deflection on the ball, and it goes out of play for a corner, which Fortunis is going to whip in here. Ball lobbed in. And it comes towards Gabriel Magalhaes. Not the best clearance in the world. And now I thought there Olympiacos had still got it. They have. It's going to go back to Rangelovic, who's going to take on Bellerin. Does really well. Flicks it to El Arabi. Still with Olympiacos here. They've not got rid of it. And Xhaka will in the end, and it will stay 1-1. But let's go over to KL, because there's been a chance in his game between Granada and Molde. The question is, who's had a chance in that match, Kieran?
It was Granada. You weren't looking at me, Josh. This got a hell of a reaction from me. It is heroic defending from Gregerson. So there's a cynical foul in the midfield, and Puertas is through-balled by Soldado. He's in acres of space. Sinyan goes to ground. He cuts inside, and who comes flying across the box? It's Gregerson. He's on his stomach. It's absolutely beautiful from the centre half of Molde. And you know what? This is the type of thing where you can tell means everything to this team. Like, genuinely means absolutely everything. And with 22 minutes to go now, they'll be happy with the performance. And what a heroic block from Gregerson.
Putting their bodies on the line. That's what you want to see in a game like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, to be honest with you, I'd say I expect absolutely nothing less, because they've played well tonight. I think, as we've noticed, Granada seem to be playing a little bit more leggy than earlier, considering they've got no subs and their strike force has a combined age of 83. So, 73, sorry. So, it's quite drastic. But this is the best chance Molde will have, and they're playing like it.
Definitely are indeed. Still got time to get back into the match. Thank you very much, Kale. 1-0 to Granada against Molde right now. But just to see, Olympiacos are coming forward here. Might be another chance in this game. It's going to be played towards the path of Masouras on the left wing. What can the Greek do? Puts the ball into the box, trying to get it towards El Arabi. And it's eventually cleared in the end. And I tell you what, this has been brilliant from Olympiacos. They're going for it now. But we're going over to Adam. I saw him. He was celebrating. There's been a goal finally in that game. We've been waiting a while for a goal in this one. Tottenham 1, Zagreb 0. Have Zagreb got back into it, or are Tottenham with a 2-0 lead? Adam?
It's the 2-0 lead for Spurs, and it's that man again, Harry Kane.
Again, tapping.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a little run from Maria on the right. Puts it into the box. I think, who is it? One of the Zagreb players, Phil Catherine, centre-back. He couldn't clear it out to Kane. Basically went straight into his path. Just a little bottom left corner finish for the striker.
Very good for Tottenham. And surely now you think to yourself in a situation like this, 2-0, Zagreb going to be, of course, at home in the next match.
Oh, yeah.
Is it looking like ties over?
I wouldn't say so yet. I'd say another goal or two, and then definitely. But, Zagreb will be hard to go to for Spurs, but they look very much in control so far.
Very good game indeed. And he got a goal as well. You said he was coming, and he got it spot on.
Finally, yeah. It's not been a great game, to be fair.
No, I don't think there's been many great games overall tonight. But thank you very much, Adam. 2-0. Can't complain right now. Tottenham well and truly in the lead in that match. But we're going over to the Molde game. I know Kale's put it in the chat. I know James has just put it in the chat. Red card, it's looking like for Molde. Who's gone off?
Yep, Ellingson has been sent off for Molde. And the first one was Mena mentioned in that attack. With Puertas, I said there was a cynical foul in the middle. That was the first yellow card for Ellingson. So that was, a minute ago? He goes in for another tackle. I'll be honest, he races into this tackle, but he gets the ball. But it's the way that after he gets the ball, he kicks, it's one of them where it's a swipe action. He swipes the ball away, and then the follow-through catches the ankle. Referees, I think the commentators just said it, the referees don't like the look of it, but he gets the ball. So I don't know how you want to do it. It was one of them. It was a tough tackle. One of the old, back in the day, Josh, you're getting praised. You're getting a standing ovation for a tackle like that. But in the nowadays game, it's a little bit dangerous, and it's a shame because what was Molde's advantage has now been completely wiped out because they're down to 10.
Well, they might have been putting the bodies on the line a little bit too literally in that sense.
Yeah.
And as you said, there's about 15-20 minutes left of this game now. Granada, although they're looking a little bit leggy, might now be able to bring on some of the youngsters and allow them a bit of an opportunity with Molde having one less player on the pitch.
Yeah, this was the thing. What we thought might have been Molde's strength in this was as the game grows, they might be able to implement. It'll feel like having an extra man because they can't bring on a substitute. Whereas now, being down to 10 men, I think if you leave here at 1-0, you'd be absolutely happy if you was Erling Mo, but it's put them up against it as they've made a substitution as Fafana comes on now for the striker Sigurdsson. So we'll have to see, but costly that for Molde because I think this first leg was there for at minimum 1-1 draw.
Definitely so. And Molde now got just under 20 minutes left to hold on with, well, I said hold on, but to try and get something in this match with one less player on the pitch. Thank you very much, Kale. 1-0 still to Granada in that match. Molde down to 10 men. And just as you thought, maybe in a game where they were actually looking very good, really going for it. Can they go for it as such now? Probably not, because they've not got that extra man on the pitch. While Granada could maybe bring on some of those youngsters and give them their first experience of Europa League football. Still stays 1-0 in that match. You kind of expect it maybe to change before the end of the game, which would be a real shame for Molde. But who knows? They might be able to hold on. We'll have to find out. But Olympiacos 1, Arsenal 1. This game has really opened up now. I've got to say, this next 15 minutes is going to be quite frantic, I think. Olympiacos 6 shots, 2 on target. Arsenal 13 shots, 6 on target, but still haven't scored in the second half yet. And Olympiacos said they don't want to obviously push too many men forward because then it allows Arsenal to counter-attack. They've got very quick players. They've got Saka. They've got Aubameyang, who can all really get at this Olympiacos defence, which, let's be honest, is very experienced. Holibas is, I think, 36. Yannick Veer's in his early 30s, which is mad to think. Socrates as well in his early 30s. Not the quickest back line in the world. And they're going to have some work to do. Although goalkeeper's had to punch the ball here from across. It's going to come towards Tierney. Now into Willian, who is going to pass the ball all the way back to Gabriel Magalhaes at the halfway line. But Olympiacos, they feel like they can get something in this game if they go into the second leg 1-1. I think they'd be fairly happy with that. Although Arsenal will have that extra goal, the away goal advantage, it wouldn't really matter because Olympiacos are the away teams. If they can get one goal in the second leg, might make for an interesting game indeed. But we're going over to Will because there's been a goal in the game between Roma and Shakhtar. We've been waiting for an opportunity in this game. It's only taken about 25 minutes. Who's got the goal, Will?
Yeah, not much happening in the second half, but it is 2-0 to Roma. And I've got to be honest, Josh has probably deserved it again. I know there's not been much happening in the second half. Shakhtar have been trying to push forward a bit more, but Roma have done such a good job of just soaking up the pressure and working on the break. It comes from Ismaili, the left back for Shakhtar, does really well, beats a couple of players. Then he tries to play an outside the football to the wing. It's a terrible ball. It goes straight to Villar, the centre mid, who plays a simple through ball to El Shaarawy. El Shaarawy picks up the ball, runs straight past Vitao, the Shakhtar centre back, and dinks it over the goalkeeper. It's a fantastic finish from him, and he only came on as a sub about 15, 20 minutes ago. So he's not been on the pitch right long, but that was a fantastic finish. It's given Roma a 2-0 lead. There's about 15 minutes to go in this game, and I've just not seen enough from Shakhtar. I've not seen enough from, like I said, they've dominated the ball, but it's just in the wrong areas. And going forward, they've not been a massive threat to Roma, and it's looking like Roma are going to cruise through to the next round. But they've managed this game so well, and they've just been the better side.
And fair play to him. Shakhtar got a lot of work to do in the second leg. Thank you very much, Will. Hopefully, we'll see him before the end of the match. Fingers crossed. But we're going over to Kieran. It was inevitable. There was a goal coming. But is it gone the way that we think? Kieran?
It has. It's Granada's goal. And I tell you what, Josh, it's Roberto Soldado. And it is a wonderful, wonderful finish. The goalkeeper should do better. But the ball is put into Molina. And he goes to lay it off to Soldado, who's just hovering at the edge of the box on the left-hand side. It's a terrible touch by Molina. It's in the air. Soldado strikes it from the edge of the box, on the volley, in off the near post. Goalkeeper, however, looks as if he thinks it's going wide because he doesn't outstretch his arms like a normal dive. His arms stay here. So I think he gets his angles all wrong, but nothing to take away from the volley finish from the edge of the box into the near post from Soldado. And honestly, the strike force that is aged at 73 has done a brilliant job tonight and put Granada 2-0 up. And it's what we said was kind of the issue with Molde going down to 10 men.
Absolutely. And one of Spain's greatest ever footballers puts the ball in the back of the net with an absolute wonder goal. You love to see it.
It's a wonderful finish.
Definitely. Probably, what is he one of those goals to check out after the match just to see it?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'll be honest, I think the goalkeeper ruins it. If he tries, then it makes it look a lot better. But it's one of them where it was a lovely, lovely finish. No, not a wonder goal, just a great finish.
And now Molde 2-0 down. It's looking like a pretty hard task.
Oh, it was a hard task, but they won the ball at the near post and it was straight into the hands of Rui Silva. But a lot of this, if it stays like this though, Josh, I give them a chance in the second leg. It's at 3-0 where you start to get worried, but we'll have to see.
Absolutely. I think there's about less than 15 minutes left, of the match.
Yeah, about 12 now, yeah. But I don't know, added time-wise, red card, injuries, maybe a bit more than that. I'm not sure. But 12, no, regulation anyway.
We'll have to see what happens. Granada 2-0 up against Molde. Molde down to 10 men. Thank you very much, KL. Still going to be a lot of time for Molde to try and get something back in that match, although they probably would be quite happy if they just got an away goal to take into the second leg at the very least, considering they're down to 10 men right now. But chances flying in towards the end of the match. As it stands, Olympiacos 1, Arsenal 1. First goal of the night went to Odegaard. Absolutely brilliant finish. Poor goalkeeping in the end. Very similar to the Soldado one in terms of the finishing. But goalkeeping even. But Olympiacos got back into the game. Yusuf El Arabi, a mistake from the other keeper. Bernd Leno allowed the Moroccan to score. He has just come off the pitch, by the way. The late winner for their game against PSV a few weeks ago, Ahmed Hassan, has come onto the pitch. So maybe he gets a late winner tonight for Olympiacos. We'll have to see. They're saying that. Arsenal in the box, and it's going to play for a corner. Tottenham 2-0 up against Dinamo Zagreb. 2 goals for Kane. Roma 2-0 up against Shakhtar Donetsk. They're saying that. We're going straight over to Will again. There's been a goal if Roma have made it 3-0, you think to yourself, this game's done and dusted. Shakhtar Donetsk, they need the away goal. Have they got it, Will?
No, it's 3-0 Roma, and it's come from a corner. I mean, it's come from straight from a set piece. Roma attacked the set piece much better. It's whipped in, I think it's by El Shaarawy, flicked on by Cristante, and then Mancini, almost at the back post, just rises and heads it straight into the back of the net. It's a fantastic header. The Shakhtar keeper had absolutely no chance, but again, it's poor marking from Shakhtar. They don't win the first ball. They don't win the second ball. They're now 3-0 down. Roma are actually just going to make 3 of their changes right now, straight up. We've got about 10 minutes to go in the game, and like you said, this tie's pretty much dead and buried now. Unless Shakhtar come out and channel their inner Istanbul in the next leg, it's over. I'm afraid it's over. And I can't see Roma not scoring in the second leg. I think Roma will get a couple of away goals with the way they played tonight. They've just took their chances more than Shakhtar have, and they are deservedly ahead by 3-0. And unfortunately, that's what happens when you don't play Manor Solomon. You get thumped.
Absolutely. And they're getting thumped right now. Thank you very much, Will. Roma 3, Shakhtar Donetsk 0. Goal in the Arsenal game. The 2-up now. Gabriel Magalhaes, what a header it is. It's a brilliant, brilliant header from the Brazilian. Really, really good effort. Gets a lot of power into the header. And Jose Sá is just too high to be able for the Portuguese goalkeeper to catch it. And he goes in the back of the net. And you just cannot take it away for the sheer brilliance of the header from Gabriel Magalhaes. And Arsenal take a 2-1 lead with 10 minutes left of the match. Although I think we've got a pretty serious injury here in terms of a clash of heads, maybe concussion for one of the Olympiacos players. Now, they're protesting, saying that this goal shouldn't count. I think the referee here is going to the monitor to check if this is going to count as a goal or not. It's Jan Veer who's down. I think it's a case of concussion, as I said, which is obviously something quite serious right now in the game of football. But the referee is actually going over to one of the managers and giving a yellow card, or one of the staff members at the very least. And it looks like this goal is actually going to count either way. So one of the staff members going into the book, it's one of the, I think he's the assistant manager for Olympiacos there who's gone into the book. So 2-1 to Arsenal. The goal is going to count either way. Jan Veer with a injury in the game, but we've had a substitution in the match between Granada and Molde. Soldado, who just scored a few minutes ago, has come off the pitch, and Ruiz has come on. As we've had 3 changes in this match in Olympiacos and Arsenal. El Neni has come onto the pitch for Willian. And we're also going to see Emil Smith-Rowe and Nicolas Pepe come on, with 2 of the players coming off the pitch. One of them being Martin Odegaard, who, of course, scored a fantastic goal earlier in the match, although it was pretty poor keeping from Jose Sá. And I think the other player coming off the pitch is going to be Aubameyang, who... sorry, not Aubameyang, coming off, Bukayo Saka, who comes off the pitch, being pretty quiet tonight, Saka, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter when Arsenal are in the lead. That's all that matters right now. They've got 2 away goals to the name, and they'll be going on with a win potentially in the next 9 minutes. So a few changes there. But across the board, as we've seen, Olympiacos 1, Arsenal 2, Tottenham 2 up against Zagreb. Roma now 3-0 up against Shakhtar Donetsk. You look at that tie now and you think to yourself, it's pretty much done and dusted. El Shaarawy and Mancini with the goals in that game. So looking fairly comfortable now for Roma to go through to the next round. Shakhtar are going to need something special if they want to go through. And with 8 minutes left of that match, still time for a few more goals in that game. In terms of the possession, they've had 63% possession, Shakhtar, but they've just done nothing with it. And Roma have been the much more clinical side, which is what you would expect. Although there's a chance here for Arsenal to come forward again. Socrates is going to clear his lines, and it very nearly could have been 3-1 Arsenal. And then you think to yourself, maybe that could have been the tie, nearly done and dusted. But all depends here what happens in the next 8 minutes now. Olympiacos, they've got a goal to the name, which is, of course, good. It's not going to be a away goal, which is a shame for them. But of course, with them being the away side at the Emirates next week, it just put them in a fairly decent position, the fact that they've just got a goal to the name. And if they can go into that second leg with it being 2-1, there'll still be a few Arsenal fans out there worried because, of course, last time when they played them at the Emirates, we had that unbelievable last kind of bit of extra time where Aubameyang missed an absolute sitter and then El Arabi scored the winning goal in the game. And there'll be a few fans worried about that again. Tonight's not been the most convincing performance from Arsenal. They've not been good enough in front of goal. They're saying that Emil Smith-Rowe's in here. He's on the left wing. Going to play himself outside the box now to Aubameyang. And as I said, if they can get a goal in this game, it would pretty much kill the tie off. I know, James, you put a few messages in the chat. Bit off topic, but have you seen the thing about Middlesbrough being charged for something from the Swansea game? Yes, I did. I think it was to do with... The players, the approach of players, they weren't keeping the players calm, and now is that not gone in the back of the net? It should be 3-1 Arsenal, And it's not even an amazing chance. It's just a cross that nearly went over the line that Jose Sá didn't see there. Good opportunity. And then Cal's put terrible defending from Olympiacos. No foul, barely touched him. Not strong enough and didn't jump. Deserved to concede. Fair play to the ref for the calmly telling the players basically to go away. Yeah, it was a brilliant header in the end. You can't take anything away from Gabriel Magalhaes. It was a very good goal indeed. But we're going over to KL. There's been a goal. Molde, they needed an away goal in this game. All Granada have made it free. Which one's happened, Kieran?
Did I type goal or meant to type chance? Sorry.
Oh, it says goal on mine.
It says goal on mine too.
Oh, it's a goal here. It's 3-1 Arsenal.
There you go. I was predicting your goal.
You predicted it. And it's El Neni. He's been on the pitch for about a minute and a half. And to be honest, I didn't really get to see much of what was happening purely because I was looking in the chat. So I'll tell you in a second what happened. But what chances do you have in your game?
It was Dimitri Fulquir, the right back from Granada, who put a beautiful ball in behind the centre back. And it was Kennedy, whose header was just tipped over by Linda. And it must have been a good header because I presumed it went in even though it was saved.
I'm just seeing the chance now. Oh, my days. It's a El Neni screamer. He's hit one from about 25 yards out, 30 yards out. And again, the goalkeeper should probably do a little bit better, but El Neni's got a massive, massive smile on his face. And it's 3-1 Arsenal. And for me, that is probably the tie done and dusted. I cannot see Olympiacos scoring 2-3 away goals in that match. But in your game, of course, Granada 2, Molde 0, Molde down to 10 men. Do you think Granada can get a third before the end of the match?
For the good of the tie, I hope not. Because I think the problem is Granada have got a lot of players coming back for their fixture the next time around. So there'll be a much different side. But I think 2-0, reflective on the night, I think Granada have probably been the better side. And I wouldn't be surprised if they made it 3-0. But we'll stick with 2 for now. We'll
have to see what happens. Thank you very much, KL. Granada 2, Molde 0, Molde down to 10 men still. A few minutes left of that match, but literally, as you said, Cal, as I was saying before, I was going to say I don't see Olympiacos coming two down, but now for me, this is tie is over, no matter how crap Arsenal are. Yeah, this tie for me is done and dusted. I cannot see Olympiacos getting back into this. You know, scoring 2 goals at the Emirates is going to be tough anyway, minimum, to get it to 3-3 in the match. But of course, it really is. It wouldn't matter anyway because Arsenal have scored 3. So it's just one of those right now where you kind of look at it and you think, Olympiacos here, if they can get a goal before the end, make it 3-2, then it makes it interesting. That's when we get excited. But they've got 4 minutes to do so. Time's running out. But we're going to go over to the Tottenham Zagreb game. Apparently, we might have got a potential Kane injury. Is it serious?
It could be. I mean, he was hobbling and then I think it's been taken off as precaution for Vinicius Jr. But it's just showing a clip of him on the sideline getting his knee shocked up with ice. So whether that's him out for a little bit, we don't know. But we'll wait and see for the Arsenal game at the weekend.
Yeah, I was going to say, not what you want to see right now. The fact that, of course, they're going to play Arsenal at the weekend. Yeah. The Euro's still coming up. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. But any more chances for Tottenham in the last 10-15 minutes?
No, they seem to be just settling for the 2-0 at the moment. They've been dominating the game, as per, to be honest. I haven't given Zagreb a look in at all. So,
which is fair. 2-0 might be good enough for them. And, well, of course, all depends now on this Kane injury, because if that happens, then it could really leave a... Well, yeah, exactly. Massive blow. Leaves a sour taste in the mouth, doesn't it, after winning the match 2-0?
It does, yeah. Well, it doesn't really feel like a win after that, really. I think you'd rather lose it than Kane be fit still.
Definitely not. But thank you very much, Adam. 2-0 to Tottenham. Looking like that's going to end 2-0. Let's hope it's nothing too serious for Kane, of course, because that would be a massive, massive blow for Tottenham fans in potentially the future, depending on how serious the injury is. But of course, we'll find out in the next couple of hours and days to see whether Kane is seriously injured or not. But Olympiacos 1, Arsenal 3. Time is running out in this game. There is 2 minutes of normal time with maybe a few minutes of additional time because of the goals that we've had in the match and the Jan and Villa injury. As I said, Olympiacos here, all they can do, in my opinion, is maybe get 1 goal back in this game and make it 3-2. That's when it makes it an interesting second leg because Olympiacos still have something to play for. But right now, this is kind of getting into a similar position where the Barca PSG one was, where ultimately in the end, there's not really going to be much to play for, which is, of course, one of those situations where it'd be a bit of a shame, but they're coming forward, the Olympiacos, and the ball, it's just poor in the end, just poor passes. really got to do better on the ball. And I think it was the number 7, Fortunis, just trying to run down the right wing. And it's good defending in the end by Gabriel Magalhaes, who, of course, has got a goal to his name tonight. So he'll be very happy indeed. But just all they can do now is get 1 goal. I don't think they will. I think this will end 3-1, but who knows? 3-2, and we're going into the second leg. Really, really interesting. But I just don't think that will happen, which means no doubt I'm going to have a pretty boring second leg to watch, which has been it wasn't a tendency last week. I had 2 fantastic second legs. I had probably the 2 best legs for dramatic moments, but I don't think we're going to get that this time. Both these teams had incredible kind of late moments in the game. I don't think we're getting that next week. I highly doubt it, as Arsenal look to come forward again. Lacazette is on, by the way, maybe to make it 4-1 and really kill this tie off. El Neni already got a goal tonight. Brilliant goal it was indeed, although goalkeeping again a little bit poor. As there's 4 minutes of additional time in the game between Granada and Molde. And you've got to say, do you know what? When you look across the board tonight, most of these ties are going to be done next week. I don't know if there's much point in doing a goal show at this rate. Roma 3-0 up against Shakhtar, which you look at that and you think it's going to be very hard for Shakhtar to score 3 goals, regardless of they're playing at home or away next week, as we go into 5 minutes of additional time in this match. It's going to be tough for Zagreb to score 2 at home against Tottenham, but you never know. Croatia's a very hostile atmosphere in terms of the grounds and stuff. You never know what could happen there. Granada 2-0 up against Molde. It's going to be hard for Molde to score 2 goals against Granada. And then this one, 3-1, unless something changes in either of these games, next week might be pretty dead in terms of what goes on. We might already have 4 teams pretty much going through anyway. So if you're neutral, you're hoping within the few minutes of additional time left that something happens in these games. Maybe Molde scores or Zagreb gets a late goal in the match just to make things interesting for the second leg. But it could be a pretty bog standard kind of event of actions next week. It might not even be worth doing it as a goal show, but just having everybody in the stream and having a big talk next week, because there's just not much going on. But 5 minutes of additional time, 4 minutes left. As I said, one of the things we do want to see is Olympiacos maybe get a goal before the end of this match and make it 3-2. That would then make it interesting, but I just can't see it happening. The goalkeeper's opted to play the ball long, trying to get towards Hassan up top, who scored a very late winner against PSV 2 weeks ago. I think it was in the 92nd minute or the 88th. It was something like that. But he got a goal in the end of that match to win the game, and I don't think necessarily we're going to get anything like that tonight. But Winvan saying, I'm a United fan, and I hope United go through. Of course, that one's in an interesting position next week. Same with Slavia Prague Rangers. That one's going to be quite interesting to watch as well. And then Ajax Young Boys need a miracle to go through next week. And then Kiev Villarreal. I think that one's done and dusted too. Unless Kiev can do something pretty special in Spain, it's going to be quite tough for them to get something in that match. But Arsenal coming forward again here. It's going to be with Kieran Tierney on the left back position. Now playing to Emil Smith-Rowe on the left wing. Maybe one more chance here to make it 4-1 and really kill this game off and make it miserable for me next week. Bit of running into the box there from Ceballos. Tries to get around 1 or 2 of the Olympiacos defenders, but doesn't in the end. And the ball will go out of play for a goal kick, which Olympiacos is going to take quite quickly here. They know they've got to have a sense of urgency here. Although it's only the first leg of the tie, 3-1's not going to be good enough to go to the Emirates next week. Of course, we've still got plenty of Champions League games to come as well. Don't forget, Tuesday is going to be Gladbach against City and Real Madrid against Atalanta. So we've got 2 very good UCL ties, which will be with me and KL. And then we've also got Wednesday, Atletico Madrid, Chelsea and Lazio Bayern. Lazio Bayern pretty much done and dusted. You're probably looking at the scoreline. And then Atletico Madrid, Chelsea, only 1-0 to Chelsea. So that one's going to be an interesting one to watch. That is next week, Wednesday at 8 o'clock. So ultimately there, going to be a few good games next week. We've got, of course, the Europa League next week as well. These games will be on at 5:55. And then, of course, we'll have United Milan and Slavia Rangers at 8. So we'll pretty much do something similar again, where we might do a goal show. We might, in fact, do it kind of as just like a little podcasty type thing instead and have all 4 of us in here and just have a football chat, because, to be honest, most of the night, it has been me talking to myself the second half. It's been quite a very hard one when there's not much going on in the background. But Olympiacos coming forward here. Rangelovic on the left wing. Maybe got one more chance in this game for Olympiacos to get something in this match. Ball played to Fortunis on the right wing. Lofts the ball into the box. Tries to get it towards Hassan. Ball still in the air. Headed away by Granit Xhaka. And now Arsenal looking to come forward. Ceballos Sees one as Emil Smith-Rowe now into Lacazette on the left wing. Frenchman blitzing down the left wing as full time's gone in the game between Granada and Molde. Tries to lay a ball into Emil Smith-Rowe, but the pass is too weak, and he goes out of play for a goal kick. But full time, Granada 2-0 win against Molde tonight. Molde down to 10 men, around about 15, 20 minutes left of the match. They went down to 10 men. Ultimately, that kind of killed the vibe of the game for Molde, and Granada come out with a big 2-0 win, and it looks like the first time entrance into the tournament might be going through to a quarter final, which is a massive result for them. But Arsenal coming into the box again here. Chance for El Neni to get his second goal of the match, but it's cleared by Socrates, and it's out for a corner with 20 seconds left of the game. Full time in Tottenham Zagreb, 2-0 there as well. 2 goals tonight for Harry Kane, but he's come off injured, so that might put a bit of a dampen, a bit of a burden even on the result. But we've got a corner here. Probably going to be the last kick of the game, this. Arsenal might have a chance to make this 4-1. Gabriel Magalhaes already on the score sheet tonight, so is El Neni. Goals as well from, I had an absolute mind blank. Odegaard got one as well tonight. So a few different goal scorers on the sheet tonight. But Pepe lobs a ball into the box, and eventually it's going to be headed away by Socrates, but not far enough. Still in play for Arsenal. It's going to be Ceballos. Tries to flip the ball towards Emil Smith-Rowe. Takes a really poor touch in the end, and they've got to play for a goal kick, and you would assume that will be full-time in the match. Full-time in the game between Roma and Shakhtar as well. As the referee blows the whistle, it is full-time across the board in tonight's Europa League games. And, well, Kyle's put in the chat, I am not watching the second leg of this game next week. I refuse. Yeah, 3-1, Arsenal win. Good result for them in the end. Kind of looked a little bit more exciting when it was 1-1, but goals in the end from El Neni. Brilliant strike from him. And a goal from Gabriel Magalhaes has kind of killed this tie off a little bit. Cannot see Olympiacos getting back into this game. And it means, sadly, I do have to watch this game next week. But you never know. One early goal in the game for Olympiacos could make things interesting, but it's going to be tough for them to do that, that's for sure. But let's go across the board now, and we'll quickly talk to the guys on their games tonight. We'll start off with Adam. 2-0 win for Tottenham tonight against Zagreb. Great result, 2 goals from Kane. But the burden is the injury.
Yeah, I think it looks like he'll be fine, to be honest. I think it's just precaution taking him off. He was hobbling a little bit. But you never know with them, to be fair. Like, it showed him taking off his bandage later on. So I think he should be fine. But 2 goals for him, yeah. Gives Spurs, I wouldn't say it's done, the tie. There's still a chance for Zagreb, but the way that they played tonight, with Spurs, I think they'll probably get through to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you look at the stats, they didn't have many opportunities in the second half. Zagreb, they didn't have any shots on target in the second half. 32% possession.
Yeah.
Croatia's a pretty hostile atmosphere. We've seen teams in the past, Red Star Belgrade, Cluj, those types of teams in this competition have come out and surprised. Do you see Zagreb getting something out of this tie, or do you think Tottenham overall will probably go on and win the second leg and go through to the next round?
You know what? I don't know, because English teams, from what I can remember, tend to not have a great time in Croatia. Like, I remember Belgrade, I think a lot of teams tend to lose there. I think Liverpool did quite recently, I think. I don't know if Croatia allowed fans in grounds at the moment. I'm not sure. I know a few Eastern European teams are, but if they are allowed fans in, then it's definitely a tough match for Spurs, I think. It'll be a hostile atmosphere, definitely.
Very tough indeed. Thank you very much, Adam. 2-0 win tonight for Tottenham. Not necessarily the 9 goals you got last 2 weeks, but 2 will do, I guess, at the end of the day. Thank you once again, buddy. And so let's move on to the next game now. Roma, 3-0 win tonight against Shakhtar Donetsk. Brilliant result for them in the end. Don't think really many people would have expected a 3-0 win. Did you expect a 3-0 win, Will?
No, I thought it'd be tighter. I really did. I thought it'd be a tight game. The first 15 minutes, both sides are going forward with their own opportunities, but yeah, just a bit poor from Shakhtar, really. I'm pretty disappointed in the performance. Roma were dominant at the back. They looked really, really strong. And they just soaked up the pressure and hit them on the counter-attack, and Shakhtar's defence was struggling all night, out of shape. And Roma took the chances, fair play to them. They just had a better quality on the day, I thought. I thought Marlos went missing a bit for Shakhtar, but Rai didn't really get the service. And, the back four, Vital, especially, he was struggling tonight at centre-back for Shakhtar. But yeah, Roma well-deserved. And to be honest, they probably go into the second leg and rest some players, because I think the tie is pretty much done and dusted.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at the stats, as we were saying at half-time, 63% possession for Shakhtar, 37% for Roma. They had 10 shots, 7 on target, Roma. 7 shots, 4 on target for Shakhtar. On paper, looks like a great game, but ultimately, you look at Roma, kind of had to counter-attack at points and put 3 past Shakhtar. You can't see the Ukrainians getting back into this game, can you?
No, not unless something dramatic happens. Maybe if they get an early goal, and then but there's no crowd, to get behind the team, which is unfortunate. I know. If it was, if the crowd was involved, they go back to their home stadium, maybe they can turn it around, but they need a miracle. And personally, I can't see Roma getting beat 3 or 4-0 in the second leg. Roma are going to score at least maybe 1, maybe 2 goals, and add some more away goals to that aggregate scoreline. So yeah, I think the tie's done with. But Shakhtar are going to give it a go, obviously, but I think they'll come up short no matter what.
Definitely so. Thank you very much, Will. 3-0 to Roma tonight against Shakhtar Donetsk, which means we have one match left to talk about. Granada against Molde. Molde went down to 10 men with 20 minutes left, Kieran. Killed the vibe of the match, didn't it?
Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, if they'd have taken a 1-0, I don't think 2-0 is the worst scoreline for Molde, but if you value the circumstances of the amount of players Granada were missing tonight, this was really the opportunity for Molde to really put their stamp on this tie. And unfortunately, everything Molde did was good up until the final third, and then it all kind of fell apart for them. And defensive mistakes tonight is kind of what sums up their night. Mistakes with 2 yellow cards, a mistake for the first goal, and kind of proves their inexperience at this level. I know Granada also haven't had much experience, but I think overall tonight they were the better side.
Absolutely. You look at the stats of the game. 12 shots, 6 on target for Granada, 10 shots, 4 on target for Molde, 56% possession for the away side, 44% for Granada. No team got the away goal in this game. It's going to be quite tough, as you said, to defend against Granada next week because they'll have a few players back. McKees wasn't even here today, which is quite surprising. I assume he's injured. Herrera wasn't available. They'll have a few extra players back. Can you see Molde doing it? Because 2 goals would be enough to take it to extra time.
Yeah, it would. And I think, we've seen them score goals, overall. In the Hoffenheim tie, they got 5 over the 2 legs. But for me, it was the defensive lapses tonight. They don't look strong enough at the back, whereas, complete opposite to what they were against Hoffenheim. They were defensively stout and resolute, but tonight they were just a few mistakes. So I don't think it's out of the realms of possibility. But as you said, Luis Suarez, not the Luis Suarez, the Watford one, might be back. Angel as well, to go with Yangel. So many players coming back for Molde and for Granada, sorry. But it'll be a big uphill task, but an early goal, and we know what that can do to mentality. And for a team who's never been in the tournament before, maybe they can get them shaken.
Absolutely. We'll have to see what happens next week. Thank you very much, Kyle. Granada 2, Molde 0 in that game. Molde down to 10 men in that match. And that is pretty much it in terms of tonight's fixtures. As Kyle said, a lot of these games over the next few, in the next round, kind of look done and dusted. But you never know with the Europa League. It can bring us some quite interesting surprises. So we'll have to find out next week, of course, which will cover these games. Don't forget, tomorrow you could join Rowan from 8 a.m. in the morning for the A-League. Melbourne City, who won 6-0 a few days ago against Melbourne Victory, are coming up against second place MacArthur Bulls. They do have former Athletic Bilbao players Benyat and Suzaeta there. So a few recognisable players from the past. If you want to watch that, Road Live, 8 a.m. in the morning for that. Do not forget that. Of course, it would be brilliant to see potentially some goals in that game. Of course, as always, if you haven't checked out our social media, please do. Our Twitter is @_top_corner and our Instagram is _sportscorner_. Do go and check this out. We always post out a tweet and post on Instagram when we go live on YouTube, as well as when we post articles up on our website, which is thesports-corner.com. If you haven't checked it out already, the games are done and dusted now. Why haven't you checked it out? Loads of content available on the website, as always. You can see it on your screen right now. Hopefully it'll load up. There we go. Lots of content available every single day. Just today alone, we've had an NBA piece. That's from Will. We've had a Premier League team of the season, looking at the very best players of the season so far. That was by Kieran D. I put up a piece based on some of the very best Europa League knockout matches of the last decade. Don't quite think we're going to get that this time with some of these matches. And then we also had a piece on Dana White with UFC over the last few days, as well as a Molde piece. So you can have a look at Molde, and maybe, you never know, they might get back into the second leg. We'll have to find out indeed. But they are all of the pieces up today. There's a whole host of other content available on the website. The link, thesports-corner.com. Do check it out if you haven't already. well worth checking it out indeed. And then don't forget, of course, if you want to take part in the UCL tournament that we're taking very soon, and we've got 10 places left for this tournament. It's a free-to-play competition. You don't need an Xbox or PlayStation or even FIFA to participate. We need 32 players for it. There are about 10 spots left. There'll be a cash/gift card, small one at the very least, prize for the winner. So if you do want to play and you haven't put your name down already, please do put your name down in the chat. It's free to play. Why not put your name down? You never know, you might win yourself a cheeky little bit of cash. That tournament will be taking place as soon as we've got 32 people involved. We're probably not going to do it until we hit the 32, so that should be very, very soon indeed. So hopefully we get to that target very soon. As Kyle, as always, he puts the link in the chat. We absolutely love them indeed. But honestly, tonight, back let's bring them back on the screen. Thank you very, very much tonight to Will, Kieran L, and Adam for what was some fairly average games, I think is probably the best way to put it. Nobody really had a screamer of a match tonight, did we?
Not for me, anyway. No.
Got 3 goals. Just a shame they went to the same team.
Yeah, I mean, next week might be quite an easy week for us, depending on what goes on. But once again, thank you very much, Adam, Kel, and Will. If you're new to stream, don't forget to leave a like, subscription. As always, push towards 2,000 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed already, then you can help us towards that goal. But we'll be live again tomorrow. It'll be Rowan live 8 a.m. in the morning for the A-League. Don't miss out on that. But as for now, we'll see you next Thursday for what will surely be the simplest golf show we've